I dread remembering the long dead. My worst day put away with key locks placed inside a locked box. I need the pain, I need the strain, I need the fire of pure desire. 'Cause I'm never free from this addiction, affliction, addicted to my misery. I cannot detox from this condition, conviction, addicted to my misery box. I'm never free from this addiction, affliction, addicted to my misery. Cannot detox from this condition, conviction, addicted to my misery box. My reasons, my demons, he took from me. A stolen piece of memory. Took my pain, my disdain, it's not fair. Give me back my nightmare. It calls my name with burning flame. Every night it's all the same, reliving my darkest shame. 'Cause I'm never free from this addiction, affliction, addicted to my misery. I cannot detox from this condition, conviction, addicted to my misery box. I'm never free from this addiction, affliction, addicted to my misery. Cannot detox from this condition, conviction, addicted to my misery box. Now your fate is where I bled. You took the weight inside my head. Took my loss, bore my cross, walked my miles so that I might smile. Gave your heart, paid the price that I should pay. Now there it is, you stay forever, ever locked away. Should feel sane, should feel whole, but your pain is in my soul. 'Cause I'm still never free from this addiction, affliction. Now it's yours, but still in me. I cannot detox from this condition, conviction. You're inside my misery box. I'm still never free from this addiction, affliction. Now it's yours, but still in me. Cannot detox from this condition, conviction. You're inside my misery box. I don't deserve you. You stay true. I want to save you from my misery. You couldn't save me from my misery. I'm addicted to my misery. Addicted to my misery. Addicted to my misery box.
It began with the suicide of Charles Blackwell, just days after his 55th birthday. Then the Rhineswan family massacre. 3 generations painfully passing from this world, crying the same crimson tears Blackwell had.
Sit alone on the edge of the
5 members of the prominent Rhineswan family were found dead.
After that, the media finally gave their murderer a name. The Red Crier Killer.
Don't worry. Remember, you will die.
Investigators believe the killer may be the same individual the media has dubbed the Red Crier.
Memento mori. Remember, you will die. I know it's droll to sell my soul. I wanted to protect them though, but I couldn't even play my role. Now vengeance is my only goal. Memento mori. Too late for sorry. Now goodbye. Breath goes dry. I will cry when I remember you will die.
And good morning, weebs and waifus. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to an episode of Delicious Morning Nonsense. And of course, today, chat, on today of the week is Friday, which of course means it's none other than Weeb Day. The day we look at things and talk about things that make Twitter cry because they can never, ever match up to the interesting draw that anime and manga has towards the West, or the West has towards manga and anime. They want to give us, there's endless hordes of girl bosses and lectures from ignorance, by the way. A lecture from a place of intelligence is one thing. But the wokies are like, we're going to give you a lecture from a place of retardedness. Oh, man, it's been crazy. I have to say, it's been crazy. All this stuff, but they're weakening and we're winning. Now, I want to prove my point, so it's not just talk. Check us out, chat. Check us out. So being lectured from these people, from a place of ignorance, actually retardedness.
Question: what percent does the top 1% pay in federal income taxes?
None.
Do you legitimately think that the people who are rich pay no taxes? It's been like a long-standing piece of knowledge that the rich people in the country pay not most, but like all the taxes. we the little people, the top, like the regular people, regular Joe pays almost no taxes, none of the taxes. The people who are paying most taxes are the rich people. But they think this, they will think this, they will believe all this random, like just crap, and they will just lecture you as if you are the one who is ignorant and they are the one who is smart.
I think it's about 40 to 50%.
Get him, Caleb Hammer.
No, I believe it's about 35%. Then the top 10% pays 50 to 60%. Top 50% pays 99%. The bottom.
That's a strange cup he has. It looks like he's drinking like a whole cup of pinto beans. Like, what is this?
50% of earners only pay 1%. Did you know we actually have the most progressive income tax system in the entire world?
What do you mean? Did she know? She doesn't know. Look at her hair color. She knows nothing. You can just tell.
Western world. Did you know that?
I did not.
Oh, we do.
Of course you do.
Of course you didn't know that. Why know
Exactly.
anything before having an opinion?
Yeah, you tell Caleb, why know anything before having an opinion? Why do that? They the same. By the way, it's not just the tax system they know nothing about. It's storytelling too. They don't know anything about storytelling either. And it's kind of the same thing that kind of has seeped into the West and has corrupted the West and the storytelling in the West. So now we have people barely making any money. No one wants to go see movies anymore. We could go to the theater. It's fine. There's nothing to go watch. There's nothing worth going to go all the way to the theater, pay all this money in popcorn to go watch. Like, who's going to pay $30 per person to go watch a movie where they lecture you about how horrible being a man is? Like, what? No one's going to do that. Who's going to really go watch Supergirl? Right, where the whole movie is marketed on, oh, she's not going to fall in love. There's no romance, and it's all about being a girl boss and how stupid men are. First of all, you just invited the men by saying how stupid men are, and it's going to be about being a girl boss. No one wants that. And then you just invited the women by saying there's no romance. I don't know what the hell the war against romance is with women, But women like that. Normal women like that. A feminist might say, "Oh, women have to be men," but that's it's not real. It's not true. Like, it's not going to fit your bubble, right? In real life, and the studies have proven this. Women like romance. All right, not I think almost 90% of readers of romance are women. That's a lot. That's a lot. Maybe like 10% of men, maybe, and maybe only then because they have a girlfriend and then they want to like talk with them about the novel or whatever.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
Exactly, Caleb Hammer.
You're probably a raise taxes person, aren't you? But you didn't even know that we have the most progressive income tax in the entire Western world?
Can't deny it. It's like, yeah, I want to raise taxes. They're already paying a lot of taxes. There's some weird thing going around that in the wokey sphere. We're like, oh yeah, the rich people don't pay any taxes at all. Let's see. Company says happy Weeb Day LD and Bez Check. Good morning to Carlos Batista. Good morning. Hello, Dr. Christmas says everyone drink lots of water this weekend and be safe. Absolutely. Hatzenbaum says, morning folks, it's Weeb Day, and more important, the day before America turns the big 250. So get your guns, hamburgers, and waifus. Celebrate freedom with like no other country can. Going to get just a relative in Rumble chat. Got the day off from work, but it is expected at over 90 degrees Fahrenheit again today. Stay hydrated. That's no problem. That's I live in Texas. Like that's normal. Let's see. Book Column says good morning and happy 4th. Hello to you, Book Column. Good morning. Little Fences praise be to LD. Best chat, and of course, Space King. Sega Sun Shooter says it will make all dishonorable gaijin who refuse to play glorious Sega Saturn watch Moana 2. A little too harsh. A little too harsh for punishment. See, somebody trolling says, morning all, slept better last night. Fantastic. Now, if CT would just drop the temperature a few dozen degrees. If only. RC4 says, sup LD and Best Chat. Japan has done the unthinkable, creating female characters who don't actively hate all men in their lives. And the activists are furious for some reason. Yeah, and they want romance too. Or they don't mind like Colin, because I also watched an entire series of anime last night for Weeb Day. You might like this one. It's Danganronpa. I watched the entire series of Danganronpa. The least Trigger Happy Havoc. I watched that entire series. Pretty good. I played the game some years back, but the series is pretty fun to watch. It's got to cut down a lot because you don't have to do all the searching because it's just like an anime, so they just do it automatically. But it's pretty good. If it's worse, up LD and Japan has done the unthinkable, creating female characters who don't actively hate all men in their lives, and activists are furious for some reason. Well, yeah, it's like I agree. I too agree. Isn't there someone you forgot to ask? That's kind of it. Like, men like action and everything. Women like, oh, that's fine. And then women are like, we like romance, and men like, that's pretty cool. So we're gonna have action movies with romance in it, and some romance movies, maybe a little bit of action in it. We both agree. And then the feminists are like, isn't there someone you forgot to ask? Here's a female protagonist with no romance. But we're targeting towards little girls, apparently. That's what they were saying about Supergirl. I had this weird fantasy that little girls are going to be clamoring to go see Supergirl, even though she's trashy, she's gross, and she's going on like a MCU space battle adventure. And they sold it on. She's not going to be in a romance. She's not going to get with anybody. If there's anything I know for a fact, it's all these women want romance and things. You could tell that not simply because they read romance, but because the shipping community, how insane the shipping community is. And you thought that a bunch of little girls are going to go want to watch this gross drunk, not fall in love. Get better, like, yeah, right, sure, Who told you that was a good idea? It's a Crow says, good morning, LD and Bez Chat. Going on a date with wife in a bit. Fantastic. Going to pick up some blue and blackberries and going to make some pies. Fantastic, Dr. Crow. That's pretty good. It's like a pretty good time. Good luck to you. Megathon says, good morning, LD and Bez Chat. Well, everyone else is on vacation today, so I'm all alone at work. Well, then daycare here too, but so I have my task and Weeb Day. Fantastic. Oh, good luck to you, Megalithon. Good luck to you indeed. Let's see. Lymph says Lady Midnight soundtrack by Evanescence. I mean, pretty cool, yeah. It's perfect. Perfect tone for the aesthetic. Jenny Gnomebody says, you are solely responsible for success. Then Biscuit says, morning LD in chat, happy Weeb Day and an early happy Independence Day for tomorrow, America. Hell yeah. Absolutely. Gunblade Knight says, good morning LD in West Weebs. Praise be to Space King. Hello to you, Gunblade Knight. CCC for Black Rabbit. Hello to you. Good morning, Vietnam. But also good morning, Let Them. Good morning to you. Good morning to you. Alex Halo. Good morning. Good morning. Let's see. Franken Casamento says, I still pay too much in taxes. Oh yeah, just we may have a progressive tax system, but we still pay taxes, and that's the real issue here. Let's see. Cartoon says, might not engage too much today, just feeling a bit off. So we'll look today. Fantastic. Sounds good. Relax, Carl Turker Nerd. Relax and just listen while I entertain as best as possible. Right now he says, good morning, let's have a best chat. I've been watching Beyblade X Season 2, and it's interesting. The main character backstory shows he is Gary Stu playing a game he's bad at, but finds it fun. That's pretty interesting. It's pretty interesting. Lim Fence is funny enough, LD, he's far from based. He's he just really, really cares about how money. Yeah, you know what I said? You know, I usually say no one's really woke. No one's woke when it comes to things they actually care about. No one's woke into this until it comes to things they actually care about. Otherwise, they can just pretend to be woke. They can just pretend, right? They can play the game, the woke game. But when it comes to something they actually care about, suddenly that woke switch turns off. You return to factory settings of a reasonable human being. David Musselman says, good morning, LD and Best Chat. The lad Lady Baby goes super hard. Thank you much, David Musselman. Very much appreciated. Very much appreciated. It's the anime version of a Misery Box. Glad you enjoyed. Bia says that said, Caleb really is financial Jerry Springer. Yeah, kind of. Yeah, this is what we turned the show into. It's a Megalathon. There's a $5 super chat. Thank you much, Megalathon. Appreciate it. It's the right thing here. It is. Yes. Thank you very much, Megathon. There's a ring I don't know, but let me tell you about stripping and waxing. Floors, Best Chat. Floors. Absolutely. Thank you much, Megathon. Appreciate it. And see. Coming out says they hear that some big company didn't pay taxes and assume that goes for everyone else who's rich. Yeah, they just assume that no one's paying taxes who's rich, and so they're like, raise tax on the rich. How about we do 100% or something like that? It's retarded. I just think that no one pays taxes except for the poor people. Like the entirety of the money, the coffers of the USA is just filled with poor people cash. That's what they think. Like raise tax. By the way, even if they did raise, no. Like assuming what they're saying is right and the rich don't pay any taxes, I would raising them help because they're supposed to be paying taxes. So the idea that they just raise the taxes, this is how childish they are, how child baby brain they are. The idea of just raising the taxes isn't going to help any because they'll just figure out how to evade taxes more. But it's still not going to be. You can put it 100%. It's still going to be paying any taxes in this scenario. It's like seeing the same baby brain logic of like, oh, if Bruce Wayne just gave away all of his money, Gotham's problems would be fixed way better. Like, no, that's why Gotham needs to have a Batman because that's not how this works. You don't just give like $1 million to a corrupt system and expecting $1 million of worth to come out of it. You're going to give $1 million to the corrupt system, and $100 is going to get to where it needs to go. Also, put money into what? Where would Bruce Wayne's money go? Housing? All these guys have a place to live. It's just he's going after bad guys. Like bad guys. That's what Gotham is. It's not just regular crime. It's horrifying crime. Horrifying. We've seen that in Dark Knight Returns when Batman quits, and it's like these ruthless thugs are just killing people for fun. That's what Gotham is. Let's see. Beyond 388 says females just need to realize show men kindness and respect, and they will be loyal. You get what you put out. If you're nasty, expect it. If you're kind, you may get kindness. Nobody frowns on it. Exactly. It doesn't take much to be kind. Says, remember that wizard told you, LD, it isn't for you. It's corrupt for children. It's corrupt and made for children. Yeah, just to make them like this.
You think?
I know that.
You think the top 1% pays 0%? Okay, but that's actually just not true according to IRS data.
I mean, comparatively.
No, that is the percentages. Compared
Comparatively.
to what? Compared to the bottom 50%? No, compared to the bottom 50%, bottom 50% only pays 1%.
It's a lot more than what.
Then they should?
Yes.
The bottom 50% shouldn't pay 1%?
It's something like,
That's interesting you say that, because you know the social programs that you love and you beg for that the entire European Union does. You know how they pay for it? They pay for it with a VAT tax. You know what a VAT tax is?
The VAT tax sucks.
it's a VAT.
Oh, wow. So you don't even know how they pay for the social programs that you beg.
You don't even know anything. You're just like, I want this and I want that, but you have no idea how things function. This is why they say that it's a mental illness, it's a mental disease. See, Dimicules, Morning LD. Have you seen the new Ninth Jedi full anime? There's a Ninth Jedi full anime series announcement. I haven't. It's like Disney are very desperate. Yeah. So talk about American anime today. Ideas. I don't think they're going to win too many people unless they have like an anime, like a Japanese writer and director. They're not really going to win too many people over with with like just the style of anime. Also, I do like that because they have to. That means they're bending the knee, right? They're bending the knee to 2D animation. They've lost that war. Apparently, they're dabbling in anime 2D animation and lost that war. Let's see. Alexander looks to find us chatting, much appreciated. Did you try Danganronpa canon spin-off third-person shooter game? It has full anime cutscenes based around the main character's sister, that that one crazy girl. Wait, no, I didn't know there was a shooter. That sounds awesome. What is it called? Danganronpa. I have 2 Danganronpa games. I have the first one and like the fourth one or something. Let's see, Danganronpa. Trigger Happy Havoc. I have 2. No, I have 1 and 2. Those are the ones I have. And then killing the version 3, killing the third one is on sale. That's $40 normally. Damn. This is a good deal then. It's like $8 right now down from 40. That's pretty good. Let's see. It looks pretty cool too. There we go. Yeah, but the first one was a lot of fun. The first one was a ton of fun. But yeah, so when Stu showed me Metamorphosis, you know, the one about the nerdy girl becoming like attractive or whatever, and then like getting just horribly abused. I thought that was like, is this that girl from Danganronpa? I wonder if that's what spawned what inspired the girl from Danganronpa. What if the nerdy girl was a serial killer in return? She was Genocide Jack. Let's see. Dr. Radford says, good morning, Aldine Beshet. It's finished a night shift at the ER department and now preparing for my dad's birthday party. Well, fantastic. Sounds pretty good. Like a pretty good day. Awesome. Get off the shift. Now you can celebrate your dad's birthday party. Fantastic, Dr. E. the Fourth. Hope everything goes well. Hope everything goes fantastically. Brother Jody says, good morning. We already know there is no women in anime. Never, right? Absolutely no. Absolutely not. Junebug may cry. Good morning, everyone. How are you doing? Doing pretty good. Alexander Lynch, additional $5 of jet. Yes. Also, new Index anime is coming out based around the villains who became the Friends group and the 4th main character. Interesting. How many villains are there? I guess I have to watch the rest of it. Because now that I've seen Danganronpa. Gary suffered mixtape, so Mahler's eventual review had plenty of examples of fail. Gary is a good friend. I saw that. It's like this. He played it too. It says, happy Weeb Day, LD. And today is the anniversary of the win at Gettysburg. I'll celebrate by watching the movie and tomorrow with a barbecue. Don't forget observation log of my fiance. Fantastic. It's a pretty good plan. Pretty good plan to me. It's a... All right. Posthuman says, tax the rich when the country drowning in debt. Yeah. You didn't really want to tax the rich that much. The rich kind of make the country go round, oddly enough. You know why there's a bunch of jobs you can get, in high school or whatever, why there's star jobs at all? Because the rich people made companies that provide star jobs. They're not government jobs. And see, Siege Garden says very few people understand how to use money without losing the amount given. This is why handouts don't work 90% of the time. Yeah, and if you mention that, they say that's offensive to say. But yeah, if you give a bum $1 million, all right, he's gonna lose. He's gonna be poor again on the street in like a year. This is how it works. It's not enough to give people money. They have to know how to use it. They know how to budget, know how to use that money. Even Black Rabbit says that's why I'm iffy with redistributing wealth when they put it in Batman's world because of how you describe it. They won't go to the actual people who need it. Yeah, just be eaten up by criminals. That in fact that would play right into criminals' hands. Like the criminals are just they're robbing banks and stuff. Their scenario is Bruce Wayne would be giving them the money. They'd just be giving them the money. So, it's like he says Bruce Wayne just be cutting out the middleman. Like, oh yeah, why don't you just give away all your money, Bruce? Okay, how would that help? You're just giving the criminals money directly. Ignorance is leftists want to raise taxes on conservatives because leftists can rely on conservatives to pay no matter what the rate is. That is true. It is true. It's Swazoom says the Batman thing is particularly bad considering half his enemies are wealthy themselves. Two-Face Penguin. Yeah, like all these guys are really rich. A lot of his enemies are really rich, but they're still doing crime. WW says, eat the rich. They're awful. Their existence forces awareness of my own inadequacies. That's good. I think that's the issue. And they hate everything that holds up a mirror to their faces. Demiculi says the Ninth Jedi is actually Japanese, made by Production IG. They all announced 8 hours ago. That's kind of, man, it's Production IG. All right. I think they're the ones that make Ghost in the Shell, Standalone Complex. Pretty good stuff. And I think, did they do Ergo Proxy? I feel like they did. But yeah, I just like that because this means that Disney is betting the need to 2D animation. They have surrendered to the power of 2D animation. Actually, this is a Danganronpa Trigger Happy is the spinoff. I guess this is called Trigger Happy. That Trigger Happy Havoc. Let's see. This doesn't seem to be on Steam, so I can't really find it there. Let's see. Why is LD showing Caleb Hammer schooling another pathetic? Just might as well. I found it. It's pretty funny.
Begging for.
Well, but
That's
through taxes.
But what's a VAT tax?
Another type.
This
of
is
tax.
pathetic.
Alex, there's like, yeah, they think they kind of sell themselves as like experts and stuff, but they're not. They don't know anything. Alex Halo looks at the $5 super chat. Yes. Let's see. Once you finish Index and Railgun Season 2, you can watch the movie. An accelerator enemy starts while he is in the hospital. Interesting. That guy was interesting because he's like super, super smart, like really high level intelligence. All right. Let's see. All right, there we go, chat. All right, here we go. So this get down to Weeb Day. So where is this? Let's get this out first because this is a brand new video and it covers a really funny topic. One we all kind of run into. Actually, the truth is Trigger Happy Havoc. I just shortened. Oh, Trigger Happy Havoc. Is that it? But I have that one. Yeah, I have that's the mystery one. It's called Trigger Happy Havoc. Danganronpa. That's the original game. Let's see. All right, here we go. Why is it like this? Why is it like this? I don't know why it did this. Hold on. 1 second here. There we go, chat. Boom. See, Sheets Garden says some small advice for you if you ever come into large sum. Deposit into a fixed investment account and budget based on the interest earned after 1 month. Work from there and never overspend. It's a pretty good financial advice. Invest. Make sure it's in a good place as opposed to just buying a bunch of TVs and stuff. like a bunch of TVs and cars. That's what got like all these people. That's like got Quartering in trouble and Boogie in trouble. Like they got a bunch of money and they didn't know what to do with it. So what? Like the Quartering made millions of dollars off of like YouTube and stuff. And what do you do with it? He bought like a gigantic racetrack for his RC car, not for real cars, for his RC cars. And he bought like tens of thousands of dollars worth of Pokemon cards just to open. Like it's crazy. It's crazy what to hear what all these guys do with money that that they come into like millions of dollars. You think they're, oh man, they have like all this infinite money, and then you hear like what they spend it on, and it's like listening to like the spending list of Nicolas Cage. Like, oh yeah, I bought like $1 million comic book, Action Comics #1. I bought like a skull from a dinosaur. Like, what do you need all this for? Like, what is this? The purpose of all this? What are you doing? And like a boogie, and they both buy like no, both of them didn't buy like reasonable houses. They buy like gigantic mansions, and then Quartering bought like a few airplanes or something like that. It's like, what are you doing? Do you really need like a fleet of airplanes and like diamond watches and everything? And then he's complaining about money. He's like, oh, I'm going broke, guys. I'm going broke. It's like for a while there, it was like Schrodinger's quartering, because it was like a one on the stream. He's like, I have no money. We need money. I'm running out. I'm gonna have to fire one of my co-hosts. And then on the other hand, he's like posting the new Rolex watch he just got, or talking about his $10,000 fish tank or something like that. It's crazy. So yeah, it's like, you don't just spend, if you get millions of dollars, don't just spend it all on like fish tanks and stuff, and Pokemon cards and RC tracks. Use it wisely. And see, Alex Taylor 35 says, oh, wait, never mind. It's called Danganronpa, another episode, Ultra Despair Girls. That makes more sense. And see. But that makes, oh, here it is. All right, this is what I found. It's only $5. I think it's only $5. See, Danganronpa. Yeah, Ultra Despair Girls. Yeah, there it is. Here it is. Interesting. Why is it? You know what's weird? It's saying that it's similar to games I've played. Silent Hill. It's Silent Hill 2 and Silent Hill F. It's similar to those, apparently. That sounds good to me, though. I think I might get it. I think it's on sale. It's like usually $30, but it's on the summer sale. All right. Thank you much, Alex Halo. You basically just bought the game for me. Much, Alex Halo. Let's see. Lady Festa says, Mom, they have free toys and stuff over there. Why don't we have it here? Why isn't my life free and being paid for? That's what they basically want. They kind of try to hide it behind righteousness, but really all they want is someone to pay for all their stuff. I just want someone to come in and pay for for living habits, their lifestyle, and basically just so they could just sit around writing gay poetry all day. That's kind of it. But then they hate men. And then when they do go out with men, that's basically all they want. They want a man to just step in, not request anything, support them in every way, have them live in his mansion. That's about it. Basically, they want a daddy. They all want a daddy. That's kind of what it is. Like, they don't want like no romance or anything, no intimate stuff. But they do want a giant house and a bunch of money that they can spend that they don't have to earn. Right? This. Or they can just choose to go out and live as an adult if they want to, but they really can just go home and relax and have everything paid for them, right? Paid for them. So saw the clip where you and Shad looked at the continuing adventures of Mary CLD. You're never going to review that. Yeah, we did. We actually watched it yesterday, I think, or the day before. It's pretty fun stuff. Very, very well done. It's a Nibyet Yifru says, if someone gave me a large amount of money with no strings attached, 80% is going to the app I use to buy and sell shares. Oh, to buy and sell shares. Okay, yeah, shares. I thought it was going to be like it's a Dark Side Phil situation where he's like spends 90% of his income on wrestling apps or something like that. It's anyway, chat. I thought it was a really fun video because it's a new video that goes over an old conflict, the Doki Doki Literature Club's art war, which was hideous. Let's check it out.
Crazy situation here. The most controversial art of the year. This week got 4.3 million views on Twitter, and it says, well, there's the art first of all, and it says, this pisses me off so badly because every single comment is like, quote, they look like grown men in wigs.
Yeah, they do.
Or grown men with wigs, unquote.
They always say that. They always attach this like to imply that you're. Have you ever seen more? That's the whole thing, by the way. They always say, have you ever seen a real woman? But you know who says that? Women who are insecure. That's how you know that they're insecure. Like, have you ever seen a real woman? Yes, everyone has. Sometimes I don't think women have ever seen real women. That's just, they keep because they'll just always put up a picture of like a dude in a wig and like this is a beautiful woman. You've never seen a real woman before. It's just crazy. Like these are dudes in wigs.
No, the frick they don't. Have you ever seen a woman?
Because we instinctually know what a man looks like. We instinctually know what a woman looks like. So yeah, we know what that looks like. So that if we give us a picture where they look like men in wigs, it's because they look like men in wigs.
In IRL. Oh my gosh, halfway to 2027 and people are still using that one. Like, have you ever seen a woman IRL? It's time for some new material. That's such a bad point. What are they trying to imply, that all women look like this or something? It's just such a bad argument. Someone responds and
like the resting state of women is ugly. Apparently, it's like, oh yeah, all women just like, if you take off the makeup of women, all women look like men in wigs. So pretty sure it's not the case. Fairly certain that you take off the makeup, women might look a little bit different, but they're not men in wigs levels of different. Not usually.
says, quote unquote, grown men. They look like someone I would see IRL. OP's like, literally.
Yeah, it's like someone. Not the characters, by the way. Someone. Like the characters in the story are not someone. The characters in the story are anime girls who are supposed to be kind of attractive because it's supposed to play off the idea that it's a dating sim. All right. They're supposed to all be attractive to the player. All right, that's the idea. It's supposed to be like a dating sim that goes insanely wrong. And I've played it before. It starts off crazy. It starts off like normal, like a normal everyday dating sim. Like, oh my goodness, I ended up in the literature club, which has just cute girls in it. That's literally the line they say. And then it goes, off the rails. A little off the rails. Let's see. TK Ultras, because that's Weeb conversation we'd love to have. And see, Cargo just installed third AC unit because fuck you, France. Yeah, I'm hoping France is cooking right now. I've intended to have it on during morning nonsense. Right? I usually turn off the AC during morning nonsense and when I stream in general. But I'm tempted to have it on right now because I not only do I not feel bad about cooking France with my indulgences, I want to crank it up so they burn even hotter. Fuck you, France. The 35 says LDR talking about sexually mature females who have never been initiated into womanhood by an actual woman. The same way most fatherless males, yes. Initiated by manhood by a man. Yeah, it's kind of, you need a woman to initiate a girl into womanhood. You need a man to initiate a man to manhood. It's just biological. It's just traditional. Like you need this to happen. It's absolutely essential. It's kind of why if you have a bunch of single mothers raising a boy, they will turn into neckbeards. It's what's going to happen, because a mother will just give the son what he wants. And he's like, oh, here's some food, here's some support, whatever. Like he could just be lazy. He won't be pushed, because his son might love his mother, but he doesn't have the same respect for his mother that he has for his dad. Because a dad comes in with a little bit of rivalry. Right. And so he wants to, compete with his dad. He wants to outdo his dad. And so it helps him grow. The man was the whip him into shape that way. That's why it's so important. Right? It's so important. And same thing with women, where women you need a woman to initiate a girl into womanhood. It's just essential. They don't want to acknowledge that. Like the whole thing is that men and women are totally the same. Like, no, they're not. Men and women are different. Let's see. Alex says that DDLC can have slight changing every time little bit too. Yeah, a little bit. But it's supposed to be a dating sim, and I know they hate this because the girls are supposed to be pretty, and they want everything to be ugly, but because they're insecure. But yeah, it's supposed to be for men, like a game for men to play, and it's supposed to be like a dating sim, and so they're supposed to be pretty. That's supposed to be like some random guy in a wig,
So this is just the inverse of the OP's argument. Like now they're implying that they've never seen a grown man in real life. The OP's like, have you ever seen a woman? And their defenders basically self-reporting that they've apparently never seen a grown man somehow. Like, do these people even think about anything before they say it? Probably not, actually. This user flipping the script on the OP, basically saying that the OP is the one who's never actually seen a woman in their life, writing in all caps. Have you even...
I know they're going to respond with, but I am a woman. Like, but yeah, but you obviously never looked in the mirror or you've never seen a woman in real life, and you obviously never looked in the mirror then, because women do not look like men in wigs, not typically. By the way, chat, thank you for generosity so far this morning. We have unlocked our Yu-Gi-Oh! GX goal. All right. Well, thank you very much, everyone. Thank you very, very much. And if we do reach 600 by the end of the stream, by the way, I will put up to a vote, and we'll add on an additional thing that we will watch this weekend at some point. I'm not sure if I'll be able to make it Saturday, but we will do it. We will go. We'll check it out. We'll check it out. Anyway, chat. Anyway. Say George, oh my, some of young people who are disconnected from the human experience strange. I guess this terminally online. You could tell this is a line of insecurity. You ever seen a woman in real life? Yes, they have. That's how they know they're men in wigs. And not women.
Seen women in your life, but here's the sort of
Where's the name? So you what's her name? Monica? I think it's Monica on the left there. Only Monica. She looks like the door monster dude now. The door monster guy. That's what door monster guy looks like now.
comments that has offended the OP and the people defending the OP. Comments like this one that says that they look like grown men in wigs about the art. And this got, for example, 47,000 likes. Another one says they literally do, I'm sorry, about them looking like grown men. This one also getting 28,000 likes. If you're not familiar with these characters, by the way, here's what they actually look like.
They're supposed to look like this. First of all, they look like girls, not dudes in wigs.
They're characters from Doki Doki Literature Club. You got Natsuki there with the pink hair and Monica there with the brown hair. Apparently, the artist that even made these drawings said speed paint of my most hated drawing. So they had already gotten hate for this. Now it's going viral again. Here's another.
I think this one is going viral. Whoa! Lady Fastalot with a 10 additional gifted memberships. Thank you very much, Lady Fastalot. Very, very generous. Thank you very, very much. Let's see if we can do one of these. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Here we go. Holy shit, Lady Fastalot. Thank you very much for the 10 gifted memberships. I'll tally that up right now. But welcome to the 10 new members of the Lit Legion. Hope you enjoyed the past shows and the custom emojis. Thank you very, very much. There we go. All right. Well, that puts us at 537, chat.
Response with 8,200 likes reads, the artist is clearly pretty skilled by looking at the shading and rendering, so I can only assume that their faces were drawn to look like adult men on purpose, which is worse than if it were just a skill issue. A top response to that from Dead Josie reading, is it bad that one of them looks like Charlie Kirk to me? And the OP says, many are saying that actually. Another response reading, the artist just really loves large, detailed noses, big manly eyebrows, and masculine jawlines. OP says they should try drawing men next time. Their art style would really...
Yeah, they should draw men because it's like they're drawing men. So try drawing men.
Fit with that. Funny enough, on that note, it takes us to this response that reads, worst of all, they are really talented at it too. This is another art from them, and it looks sick since they used masculine features on a man. So there you go. Go ahead and take a look at that one for comparison. Oh no. Oh no, not this. I haven't seen this in years. This response says it's giving, showing this infamous.
Oh, this infamous one. This infamous. Oh man, infamous art of Doki Doki Literature Club characters.
Miss Doki.
They've been Tumblreenized. Look at this
Doki art. This was
look at this nightmare fuel horror show. Look
like some Tumblr tier stuff from back in the day. Yeah, literally from Tumblr.
These are dudes. These are dudes going to doing cosplay and going to a convention. These are not the characters. These are that one on the right there is like 40. It's a 40-year-old dude.
Tumblr. This was. Oh gosh, I don't even know what to say, dude. I can't even. Let's move on from this. It's too much. Another user would say, I really wish y'all would look at their profile more before commenting stuff like this and posting 4 examples, which we'll take a look at in a second. But this got responses like this one that says, wow, those are actual men in wigs, not even a hyperbole or slightly masculine girls, just straight up men. That got 22,000 likes. As for the tweet that said, I wish y'all would look at their profiles more and posting those 4 examples, that one.
Yeah, those are just dudes. It's like a boy band.
One got 2.
It's like a Korean boy band.
4,000 likes. And so we'll take a look at those examples. There's the first one, the second one, the third one, and the fourth one. Top response to this one reading, I'm in full belief that people are being too harsh on the artist, but it doesn't change the fact that these do indeed look like men in wigs. People then begin to have fun making comparisons like this tweet that says Monica looks like Yandev, or this one that says, I'm sorry, but I do see Super TF in Natsuki. Another comparison image right here. The artist just didn't give into the beauty standard and drew some normal women. Apparently, anything that isn't the beauty standard is male.
Yes. Yeah. We know what men and women look like. We know men have these strong jaws and stuff. All right. That's how it goes.
Only on Twitter and TikTok, bro. I hate the weird transphobic discourse around this, but it seriously bothers me that people constantly draw Asian characters as white when you know.
Asians do that. What do you mean people?
When you know dang well Natsuki, Sayori, and Yuri are Japanese names. Even I think they look like men cosplaying the characters, and I'm a woman. How many women have masculine chins like those? Anyways,
Like the chins like shovels. Like
yeah, that's essentially the situation. That's the
anyway, Chad. That'd be a good opener. She got let's talk a little bit about Danganronpa, and then we can get to the meat of the situation today, Chad. Danganronpa. I didn't know the ending. I forgot the ending. I'm not sure if I finished the original game, but so the ending. I knew the ending was about Junko, but I didn't know it was that crazy of an ending. It's a Shazum. His Monica isn't a Japanese name. What now? Yeah, exactly. Monica's a American name. The thing is, it's like people who look at art all the time are known for their observation skills. Yeah, this the artists are like, that's a man. It's a dude in a wig. Why'd you make me remember LD? Because you all must suffer together. Lumenfen says, to be fair, LD men are usually better at realistic rendering objects. I mean, yeah, but I mean, I don't think you have to be a man to be like, that's a woman and that's a man in a wig. Anyway, chat, this is a fun game. This is a fun series I watched also. Watched the entirety of the series. This is like 12 episodes. And it's pretty good. It's pretty good. It's like a death game, sort of like, or like you try to. The thing is, you're all trapped in the school, and you're trying to murder someone else. Like if you manage to murder somebody, get away with it, then you're free to walk. Right, you're free to get out of the school if you want to. You can leave. The tragedy is in the end where they didn't have to do that at all. And they actually had their memories like wiped or manipulated. It's interesting. And then you try to figure out like who did it, and they're able to escape the judgment and get someone else to be accused of. It's kind of like Among Us. Right? It's like you have a meeting. It's like Among Us. And you try to like eject the right person, and if you don't, you all die. It's kind of how it goes. But anyway, let's check it out, chat. Here it is.
Hey there, howdy, hello. Is everyone here? Good. Then let's get things rolling.
And see it sounds way better in the game, and the Monokuma is way more annoying in the show. They dropped like a bunch of modern day references. You could totally tell that Trigger Happy Havoc, or at least the first Danganronpa series, anime series, was localized because he calls them like Gen Zers and stuff. I was like, wait a minute. Yeah, so he tosses in a bunch of like modern references. Like, what are you doing? And Monokuma sounds like Monokuma here. In the show, he sounds way different. Like, wait, I know the voice actor who does it. I don't know his name. Because I know him. I know what he sounds like. I'm like, oh, that's that guy. He does usually play Weasley characters, but he's like that's way different than this. Like Monokuma sounds like a little teddy bear, but in the show he sounds a little bit more weird because it's a totally different dude. Let's see, Dai Karai says, artists being known for observation skills. As I heard it in Hollywood, it's full of artists and nothing out there that has heart, any similarities to reality for a while. As we saw with Caleb Hammer, they have like no real sense of reality. Everything is warped to some weird, like alien standard. It's very strange. Danganronpa. I like it a lot because it's a really cool mystery game where there's several murder mysteries that you have to solve, and you have to solve each of them. And each time it happens, like there's no one seems guilty at all. And like, really, one of these people murdered somebody else? Surely it has to be a trick, right? No, it's never a trick. It is always someone murdering the other. It's crazy. And then we find out that the world has been destroyed actually, and that's why they're in here. They barricaded themselves in here and agreed to be in here. And so the memories were wiped so that they don't remember the calamity. They just remember like normal life, which you know pushes them to want to get out. And that was kind of it. Danganronpa. It's a really good game. Rodakuma. And see, I love how this series basically became the game you would use to mindfuck let's players. Because it's part goofy and part like serious in nature. It's kind of interesting. And Marcus says, I turned you on for background radio. Now you have me hooked. I had to tear away so I could continue writing. You're too effective. You trade LD. I'm glad to hear that. Well, and good luck to you, Ben Parker. Good luck to you indeed. Let's see. Danganronpa, the Among Us before it's yeah, pretty much. Except you can't get it wrong because if you get it wrong, you die. Like the whole thing is my initial idea was that the simple answer to this is kill everybody, but they have a rule that says you can only kill up to 2 people. If you're going out to murder some students in order to try to graduate, all right, you can only kill up to 2 people. Break the rules, it's too bad for you. You don't get your prize. So you can kill a max of 2 people. My initial thought was like, okay, well then the easy answer here is that you kill everybody, because the setup is if you kill somebody and you get away with it, everybody else dies anyway. So like the punishment for saying someone did it when they didn't do it and having them punished and executed, the punishment for that is you all die except for the person who committed the murder because they managed to outwit everybody. Okay, so you're killing everybody anyway. So my initial thought was like, okay, then if that's the game and you're somebody who's willing to murder and get out of here, then you should just kill everybody. But they limited it down to 2, so that's not part of the plan. You can't do that. I mean, because yes, I would say too easy, but like, yeah, I mean, you have to commit like mass murder, but you're basically doing that anyway by killing somebody, because the only thing in your mind at that point would be knowing what would happen would be I'm killing this one person and I need to get away with it, and if I do get away with it, everyone dies anyway except me. So you're essentially condemning everyone else to death too. That's the idea. So I mean, at that point, you might as well just call it killing everybody, because if there's no one to catch you, there's no one to catch you. If there's no one to catch you, but it's pretty good because it's like you're all locked in, and it's a setting where you're locked in with a bunch of interesting characters because they're all like unique. They're all there because they're all unique in some way or another. They're all really good at one thing, and so that's why they're all there. So that alone just makes them all interesting, uniquely interesting, individually.
Everything they told us was a lie?
What?
Just as I thought.
Now then.
Murder took place in Makoto's room.
In the
And at one point, he finds like this thing that says, "You must not leave this place." He finds like a journal, like a secret journal that says, "You must not leave this place," right? And it's like, why wouldn't you want to? Because as far as they know, the calamity that kind of destroyed the world, we find out that the world has also been like destroyed by some sort of calamitous apocalypse thing. I don't know exactly what happened, but you find out that that's the case, and that's why they had to wipe their memory from before a year ago, because it just happened a year ago, and so the world is kind of almost uninhabitable. But they wiped the memory for 2 years. For 2 years, they wiped the memory, And so they don't remember the calamity. They've been at the school for 2 years, but don't remember. They think they had just arrived, and they don't remember the calamity at all. So that's why they're all like killing each other and clamoring to get out of there so they can get back to real life. And like, oh, why isn't the police after us? It's like, oh well, did they pay off the police? Like, no, the police is just gone. There's no police. But I do like how the final battle is between the idea of hope and the idea of despair, and that the literal serial killer in their midst, Genocide Jack, doesn't kill a single person. Like it's because if the Genocide Jack did kill somebody, it would be very obvious because they stick to their patterns relentlessly. Which is like they only kill men. Like Genocide Jack only kills men. I say they because it's two people, not because they're trans or anything. Because Genocide Jack is also like the novelist. She's a novelist lady, Fujoshi lady. And then, but whenever she sneezes, she changes to Genocide Jack. So, who is a serial killer, and they don't remember each other's memories. So, they have to like tell each other everything. But if it's like Jack experienced one thing, then the other girl does not. She doesn't remember at all. And Dai Kairi says, "Wait, if everyone's dead and everyone will die, if you contend with the game, then the only moral choice is to switch genres and go full hentai. To pump these numbers up." Exactly. The Monokuma was like, "Oh yeah, wait, you're doing the deed, didn't you? Weren't you in the sauna? Weren't you?" And because he's like, "Okay, because I don't have any cats, so I don't have any cameras." But that's not what happens. And the Scissor Lady, and said, "Listen, you should play the Galgun games." Galgun, I heard of that. And say, Galgun. Oh, they are on Steam. At least Galgun 2 is. Gal Guardians Demon Purge. What is this? Galgun Returns. Galgun Demon Purge is pretty cool. Like an RPG. Oh no, it's a side scroller thing. Okay. Galgun 2. They have Galgun 2, but not Galgun 1. What are these? Are you just go around? It's like, are you just shooting people? Are you shooting like random girls with like a little, it's not like a lethal gun. It kind of seems like you're spraying with water. Like I don't know what the hell this is. Let's see, chat. Junebook says, I stopped after they made 3 into an anime before the actual third mainline entry of Danganronpa. Oh, did they? That's interesting. They probably shouldn't have done that. They really probably shouldn't have done that. But and the first series is pretty good. The first game is pretty awesome. I like the first game. A lot of interesting characters. By the way, in the series that I watched, they have like this. There's a biker guy, as you can see right next to her on the left there. He's got like, he looks like Kuwabara, and they got I think they got Sagat to do his voice. It was his Kuwabara's voice. So it's like, oh, this is Kuwabara. They got Kuwabara to voice this guy, which is very, very interesting. He's like the peak of masculinity in that group.
In the bathroom, she didn't even have a chance to resist.
This is bad.
Just spit it out already.
Why? How many times do I have to tell you?
What are you saying?
That's enough.
Shut up!
No one. Nobody's gonna give in to despair.
Let's give it everything we've got!
Just hold on. That can't be
You're
true.
a liar! Wait, what? Coming 2014! Pull the trigger!
Pretty good stuff. It's like this is the original trailer of the game. But yeah, there we go. The fat guy is in there. I think he's like the ultimate, like, I think they're all called the ultimate high school something. So he's like the ultimate high school fanfic writer, I think. The one girl, Kirigiri, is like the ultimate high school detective. And the main character you find out is the ultimate high school hope. That's his thing. He's really good at hope. Like Ken is really good at beach. This guy's really good at hope. And you shoot gals, the Japanese fashion style. I mean, it is anime. It looks like. They say Galagun is a lewd game that has a gun that makes you horny. What? I thought it was a shooter. I was thinking like it was a shooter. You were a girl and you're probably an anime girl and you kind of shot everything. That's weird. What? How is that a game? It's a rail shooter. It's a rail shooter. And so Ben Barker says, yes, you have LD. When Stu is on, someone brought up Galgun. Did they? I don't remember that at all. I don't remember it at all. I think Stu handled that one. Yeah, the Japanese voices are way better. Like they're way better. They really are than the series I watched. But yeah, so it's very interesting. I have no idea. I guess I have to play the game to see the full context because Junko's is kind of. It turns out, everyone knows that the person who was putting this on is apparently Junko, and the first person you see die, and it turns out that it was her twin sister dressed up as her, and they had switched places or something. And then Junko is an insane lunatic who has like 3 or 4 personalities too. It's like Genocide Jack. They don't really explain that. She just kind of switches between them. And then you do one final trial to figure everything out about the school and figure out who killed the sister, the mysterious 16th student, and they win because of hope. Right, it's like all the tension is stuck up against the main character at the end there, and he has to not only figure everything out but convince everyone else not to kill him, because the thing is, the trade-off is if you want to stay here. You can't let Junko die, because if Junko dies, then the air filter in the school will shut down and it'll become uninhabitable and they'll have to leave. So that's kind of the main thing. Like, do you want to stay here safe, or do you want to win? Do you want hope to win, and you can all hope for a better future out there? Like, which one is it? And he has to convince, not only do they have to figure it all out, which is a big mystery, they have to convince every single one of the surviving students to not kill him, because even one votes against him, he loses. So that was a big effort, and they were able to overcome it. It was pretty. He overcame it realistically, because his characteristics are hope, and he's friendly, and he knows all of those characters by now. So he's able to like dig deep into their psyche and their hopes and their dreams and their personalities, and he's able to convince every single one and revitalize them into hope and optimism. And so he's able to win over Junko. Let's see. Dai Kyrie says that they probably made a show about people republicing the Earth after a serial murder between a bunch of unique characters. I'm sure that happened. There's an anime or manga for everything I hear. Probably, yeah. In terms of like if there's an anime or manga about it, there probably is. My hope is greater than yours. Exactly. But yeah, it's a really good story. I like it. I like it a lot. It's part goofy because some of the characters are really weird, insane, and goofy, but it's also, has a really good tension or tense moment at the end where they have a almost literal philosophical war between hope and despair. Because Junko is, for some reason, like really obsessed with spreading despair around the world. And then when she loses, she executes herself. She presses the button to execute herself, and she gives herself all the executions, all of them. Like everyone else suffered. She goes through all of them for some reason. Anyway. So I hope there's a live action adaptation with an accurate hit. Dude, that'd be impossible. Some of his hairstyles are insane. Like the Kuwabara guy, he's just insane hairstyles. Like, look at this. How do you give somebody this hairstyle? That's crazy. And then I mean, hers is fine, but like you give someone like this pompadour thing that he has is insanely long. It's like 2 feet long of pompadour. It just doesn't look that way because we're watching him head on, but it's insane. And then the nerd otaku guy, he's like this gigantic horn on his head, this horn of hair. And see, I mean, I don't think it'd be that tough to get these guys' hairstyle, but some of these characters would be really tough to emulate. There's that's Kirigiri, and then her Celestia Ludenberg would be insane. That's insane. You have to have like some sort of attachment. Because she not only does she have these princess curls, they're like enormous, giant princess curls. It's crazy. It's TK Ultra says it sounds like they put Phoenix Wright in a blender with a battle. It kind of is. It's very Phoenix Wright. I played both, and the first Phoenix Wright game and this, and yeah, they're very similar to each other. You even have objection, but instead of objection, you have verbal bullets, which is cool. And when you hear everyone kind of discussing in a room like the case, and then when you hear a contradiction or something wrong, you're like, hold it, poof, you shoot him with a verbal bullet, and you're like, no, that's wrong. It's inconsistent. Here's why. So it is kind of cool. It is kind of cool. You have these verbal bullets you can shoot at people. And but it's really interesting in the game because you kind of have to listen. You have to listen to everybody, and you have to find the inconsistency. Although you can replay it, you can replay the conversation, which is fun. But your conversation is, or the thing is, you have to listen to the conversation and find the inconsistency in someone's assertions, and then boom, you get him with the verbal bullet. It's pretty cool. I like it. I like it quite a bit. And so it's a really good game. No wonder it spawned like a franchise. There's like a bunch of twists and turns and stuff. It's pretty cool. I like the Danganronpa, pretty awesome series. Let's see. All right, chat. But I watched the entire thing. It's pretty crazy. I recommend Danganronpa, at least the game and the series, if you wanted to see like a summarized version of it. You don't really get to know everyone as much as you do from the series as you do in the game, but it's still pretty good, even with like the localized dialogue. It was still pretty fun. I liked all the mystery, even though I knew who kind of did it. Like I kind of liked how they got there, what the clues they looked for. It sounds really cool. If I manage to make a game, I'm making verbal bullets. I'm stealing. It's a pretty cool idea. It's a pretty cool mechanic. I like it. Let's see. All right, chat. All right. Well, let's see. Let's get down to business here. Get these out of the way. Let's get down to business with some, let's see, some Mother's Basement. What does he have to say today? American anime. He's going to be complaining about American anime today.
Be someone else. Most of us go through a phase like that at some point in our lives, be we teenagers, adults, or entire countries' animation industries. But today, we're going to be looking back on one particularly tender year from my youth when, oh, sorry, that note's for my therapist. Today, we're going to be looking at the 28-year-long phase in which American cartoons have been trying to be anime, where they've succeeded, where they've failed horribly, and what the attempts themselves say about America's evolving feelings toward its favorite cultural import. But before we dive into that, we'll be looking at one particular American company that's been doing amazing things with anime lately. Today's sponsor, Starforge Systems, who make powerful gaming PCs in bold bubblegum pink with charming pack in their PC bundles. Regardless of how you want it, all American media landscape when it hit in fall 1998. As the first anime to well and truly eclipse everything the West had to offer on its own televised turf, the 1-2 punch of Power Rangers and Pikachu sent execs scrambling to pick up some lucrative licenses of their own and develop some homegrown IP that could compete in this brave new Saturday morning metagame. But our story doesn't quite start there. While mainstream and elite America remained blissfully unaware of the soft power nuke headed their way in the late 90s, the people actually making cartoons knew what was up a long time before then. As Disney was still desperately clawing its way out of the Dark Age, Japan was pumping out films like Laputa, Akira, and Totoro, whose narrative nuance and technical acumen would put most of the Renaissance era to shame. And many of the most passionate Western animators of the day were watching those works, learning whatever they could from them.
I mean, I know Akira became legendary. I'm not really sure. That's a good question. Like, would this era of anime be comparative to the Disney Renaissance? Disney Renaissance is pretty good. Like, it's really good.
Thanks to imports like Samurai Pizza Cats, Star Blazers, Robotech, and Speed Racer, many future animators of the day also found themselves enamored with anime from a very early age. And as they grew up, renting the likes of Bubblegum Crisis and Ninja Scroll from Blockbuster helped keep that passion burning. Add to that the vast number of cartoons from the 70s, 80s, and 90s that were outsourced to Japan, and you'd be hard-pressed to find a show that wasn't wasn't influenced by anime in some way, even back then. Some more obvious than others, like Frankenstein Jr., which explicitly shouted out Gigantor, aka Tetsujin 28 Go, as one of its inspirations, or the blatantly Japanese mech designs of the Transformers, not to mention the half-dozen Japan-exclusive sequels that dramatically expand on the continuity of Generation 1, or Inspector Gadget, who literally only exists because DiC couldn't secure the Western rights to the futuristic spin-off of Lupin the Third they were working on. Speaking of Lupin, the Great Mouse Detective?
Okay, that's a lot of how a lot of creative works happen. It's like they try to get something, they can't get the rights to it, so they make their own. It becomes its own IP, its own legendary thing. See, Bitburger says Thundercats, Transformers, G.I. Joe, all of those were outsourced to Japanese animation studios. Yeah, it's just we have a lot of American shows, but they were kind of like they were outsourced. Like I think now we kind of outsource to Korean studios sometimes.
Famously lifted its entire climactic clock tower fight directly from Castle of Cagliostro, which would not be the last time that Disney cribbed Miyazaki's notes. The creators of Tailspin were said to have shown Nausicaa and Laputa to every new animator they hired without even putting subtitles on, just to set the standard for the show's flying scenes. But ultimately, all of those examples amount to blending some anime elements into conventional American cartoons. For 1992's Batman the Animated Series, creators Bruce Timm and Eric Radomski made a conscious effort to emulate the cinematic storyboarding and intense atmosphere of Japanese animation, in the process creating quite possibly the first ever Wilhelm screamification of the Akira slide, and setting a new, more anime-esque standard for basically every action cartoon of the preceding decades, especially the ones about superheroes. That was true both of the DC animated universe that would eventually spring out of Tim's Batman and Superman shows, and many Marvel cartoons throughout the 90s and 2000s, starting with the classic Fox Kids run of X-Men and Spider-Man. Batman Beyond leaned even harder into those cyberpunk anime influences to create a Monster of the Week vehicle that feels an awful lot like
Okay, hold on. When's this video start? I know we're doing like comparisons. Hold on.
Shonen battle action and cutesy magical girl aesthetic.
Yeah. I think this is McCracken or something like that. He and Gendy, I think. No, I think Craig McCracken worked with Gain to make this. This was definitely this Powerpuff Girls was definitely a mix of American superhero stuff and anime, like big kaiju anime specifically. The big kaiju stuff from Japan, because they always fought like giant monsters. But yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy stuff with Powerpuff. I'm not really sure if they're trying to like emulate anime. They definitely had some influence, but I'm not really sure if they're trying to be anime. Samurai Jack had some huge influence from anime from Japan anyway, and probably the way they built up action moments, definitely so. But I'm not sure they're trying to be anime. Now there's some shows that are trying to be American anime, like Teen Titans. Well, Teen Titans was good, but it was trying to be American anime, and the Avatar's Airbender. That would be, I think, classified as American anime, even though it might have been animated in like Korea or something like that, or Japan. It's an American show, and they chose the style of the show to be anime-esque. So I think that would classify more as American anime when we think about American anime. I'm not sure if this would, though, because the Big Eye thing, that's not anime, that's Disney. The anime got that from Disney.
Though that wasn't actually the first time that Craig McCracken showed his love for anime on Cartoon Network. 1 year before Powerpuff.
And see, yeah, definitely did. Samurai Jack, I think Cassie says Samurai Jack is its own thing, but the influence is obvious. Oh yeah, definitely. They even straight up take Ito Agami, Lone for Cub, and just have Jack as a kid kind of watch this guy fight a bunch of ninjas. It was pretty interesting.
Girl's debut, he storyboarded Mach 5, an episode of...
That was a good episode, because Speed Racer was literally the first anime I've ever seen. Literally. First anime I've ever seen. So it was really cool to see Dexter have this spoof of Speed Racer. It's pretty interesting. I like how Dee Dee was both Spritle and Racer X. I was like, that's a choice.
Dexter's Laboratory that masterfully spoofs Speed Racer with a pitch-perfect parody of its idiosyncratic dub and a loving homage to its distinctive style of animation. The episode was also co-directed by two notable anime lovers in Rob Renzetti, who would go on to make his own Maho shoujo take on Astro Boy with My Life as a Teenage Robot, and Dexter's own creator, Gendy Tartakovsky, who actually got his start animating on Batman and would go on to do more than almost any other Western animator to make cartoons more like anime. From the shonen Chanbara stylings of Samurai Jack and Clone Wars to the tragically short-lived super robot cult classic Symbionic Titan. And of course, we can't forget the world-class waifu engineering that gave us Mavis Dracula. But before we can get into any of those, we've got to take a quick detour with the Mach 5 into the world of anime parodies, as they'll better help us understand where America's head was at with all these weird Chinese cartoons taking over the airwaves. Besides Mr. Sparkle, a riff on weird Japanese advertising from the Simpsons episode In Marge We Trust that came out earlier that same year, I believe that 97 Dexter's Lab episode is the very first example of an American cartoon riffing on Japanese tropes, but it would be far from the last. As Pokemania and the anime boom took hold of the nation's youth, American artists started lining up to offer their own commentary and criticism on the whole phenomenon, which often came off as a wee bit salty, if I'm being honest.
Your clan is weak and silly where mine is strong. Well, you have sacrificed story content for mindless violence and lack of structure. My clan has won, and you can too if you go to the store and buy our toys. Buy our toys. Buy our toys.
I guess it is. Like they kind of felt a little salty sometimes, I guess.
Very few exceptions, like that one angry.
Although it is kind of funny for them to be calling that out. Hold on.
And you can too if
honest.
Your clan is weak and silly where mine is strong. Well, you have sacrificed story content for mindless violence and lack of structure.
Oh man, I wouldn't be tossing that around these days. I mean, tossing that accusation around these days, mindless violence and lack of story. The lack of story structure one specifically, I'm pretty sure, not the best thing to be taught. Like American creators should be tossing around these days.
My clan has won.
Debo Zero Simmer, I'm telling you, was so good. Wish they continue that story. I mean, it's a Gamer Tarkovsky. I think he usually makes pretty good stuff. And see, Debo Zero, this is the $5 super chat.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I didn't see a lot of Symbionic Titan, but it was pretty fun what I've seen. It was definitely one of Gamer Tarkovsky's more adult cartoons, but it was still pretty good.
And you can too if you go to the store and buy our toys. Buy our toys. Buy our toys.
With very few exceptions, like that one Angry Beavers episode, there was little ball knowledge to be found in any of these post-Pokemon parodies, which artlessly mashed up the same 3 or 4 anime the creators were all aware of, while regurgitating all the same tired talking points. Just look at their cartoons, so full of imitatable violence. They're abusing those cartoon animals. They give you seizures. The dubs, they talk so weird and they try so hard to sell you stuff. American media would never. On occasion, one of these would deliver a solid original gag or two.
Matrix! Stop trying to hit him and hit him!
Sorry, Bob.
But for the most part, if you've seen the South Park episode Shin Pokemon, you've already caught them all. That reboot made-for-TV movie even called its monsters Pantsu Hebi, or trouser snakes, which is literally the exact...
This reboot?
Caught them all. That reboot made-for-TV movie even called...
I never seen this. What the hell?
Its monsters Pantsu Hebi.
I thought I'd seen all of Reboot, but this seems way too crazy to me. Like, this doesn't seem like Reboot at all.
Or trouser snakes, which is literally the exact...
I guess it's like questioning which era of reboot you want to talk about, because reboot had like two different eras. There was the initial era of reboot, which is like very kid friendly and very Saturday morning cartoon, and then there's the latter era of reboot, right, where it's like it's very dark and adult. It's like, what the hell is this? This is a big change for like the spunky, Enzo and Bob, the guardian, who's just doing crazy things every week. It's a big difference, really big difference. So I guess it really does, the whole thing of like making fun of Pokemon in reboot, that does definitely feel like the early era of reboot, not the later era of reboot. Reboot. It's been a long time since I thought about reboot, but that was a pretty good show. I kind of liked it. It's a He-Man.
Exact same joke as Chin Pokemon, just worse. As the years went on, though, more cartoons began to acknowledge that anime actually was kinda cool, and kids might have good reasons to like it, leading to more balanced and entertaining parodies overall. And even some of the less flattering ones were clearly being made by people who actually watched anime, perhaps even too much anime. Just 5 years after Chin Pokemon, even as their Comedy Central...
Let's see. Shoving Tronic says, I have a sudden urge to buy the toys. Happy Independence Day 250th birthday, fellow Americans, and have a great weekend, LD in chat. You do as well. Shadowwing Tronics, fantastic. Gigatron TV says, loved me some Billy. Yeah, Billy and Mandy was fantastic. Billy and Mandy's really good. I don't think a lot of these are, though, American anime. I mean, yeah, America has American cartoons will definitely take some jabs at anime or have some influence of it, but like this is Drawn Together. Drawn Together is not American anime. Drawn Together is basically the idea is a bunch of different cartoon characters from like different settings and stuff like that will just relax in the same house, like a animated reality TV show, right? So you have like a superhero. You had Captain Hero, who was a superhero. You had Clara, who was like a Disney princess. You had Spanky the pig, who's like an internet meme pig thing, and then you had, of course, Ling Ling, who was a spoof on Pikachu, and like the Ling Ling race or whatever, the little monsters, they would like when they fell in love with each other, they would battle each other instead of having sex. Like instead of sex, they would battle each other. And so Megathon Lisa 5 says, so that reboot was the last season where there are two Bobs after the demon arc. That was the movies. They made that later, became the last season. So wait, that was the last season? That's a stark difference from the latter half of reboot, which was incredibly dark, like adult. Because he had like adult Enzo, and he's just like running around with PTSD. He's like an anti-hero and stuff. And he had his girlfriend, I guess, who went from like being a cute little kid to now she's like a grown woman in a scantily clad outfit. Also, Enzo is ruthless. Like he's like an anti-hero, like almost the Punisher. He's a big change since he was like the spunky little kid we met him as. And see, Lady Vesa says, bits of my heart are bleeding out of every terrible, subpar, untalented, and lazy animated clip this dude plays. Yeah, there's quite a few of them.
Contemporaries at Drawn Together were busy subjecting the world to Ling Ling and every low-hanging fruity joke you can think of about a JRPG protagonist. South Park came back around with a genuine love letter to bloody action anime like Ninja Scroll and Fist of the North Star, so clearly brimming with passion.
Yeah, so they had Xander, who was like a Link spinoff, like a Link spoof, and he was gay and like really, really gay. And he's like, but the first few episodes anyway, have him on a never-ending quest to save his girlfriend and stuff. So that's before he turned gay, though, or was outed as gay. And then he got really, really gay.
for its inspiration that Matt and Trey wrote and performed their own anime OP, full of Japanese dick and ball jokes, naturally. And in the
It's pretty good too.
years since, the show's anime references have only gotten more specific and accurate to the subculture. Even back at the turn of the millennium, you could see hints that Stone and Parker were at least a little weeby, but nowadays they really wear it on their sleeves, and that's kind of true across the board in cartoons for kids and adults alike. Across the 2010s and 20s, we got Regular Show doing whole TV specials based on Ava and G Gundam, Gravity Falls turning Tokimeki Memorial into horror a couple years before DDLC, Bob's Burgers using Totoro as a metaphor for Bob's whimsical approach to cooking, the Animaniacs fending off Itano circuses, and shows like Gumball and even The Simpsons contracting real Japanese studios to do their anime spoofs justice. And of course, we can't forget all the brilliant independent animators across the internet making fun of and paying tribute to all the anime that have inspired them. Far too many to name even a fraction. And yet somehow, out of all of them, not a single one manages to be conceptually funnier than that time Warner Brothers unironically turned the Looney Tunes into an anime type thing.
Like, whoa, oh, yeah, I guess it was muted. I don't know why I was muted. I didn't even mute myself. I don't remember. I don't remember. But thank you much, Megalathon. Appreciate Megalathon. The $50 super chat coming down with $50 super chat. Thank you very much, Megalathon. Very generous indeed. Yeah, Enzo and Endra lost the game, so that's right. So they changed their ID to Game Spirits to not get nullified and leave with the game. That was the story of season 3. Them game hopping from system to system, but doing so they compiled faster and grew up. Yeah, that was the whole trade-off. That's why they grew up so fast. And like when they got back home, his like Dot, Enzo's sister, and Bob were like still kind of the same age. Also, I think Bob got lost at some point. Like Bob died and they brought him back or something like that. Something like that. But yeah, that's what happened. They were able to they were traveling from game to game, from PC to PC through like games, because the way games work in Reboot is like if a boomer made the show, I'm pretty sure they did. Like it has a boomer understanding of how games work. So like basically every single time you play a game, you're just destroying your PC. That's kind of what the premise is of games in there. And you play a game though, chat, you might just be having fun, but if you win, then all the citizens in your PC who are trapped in your game and forced to play, they all get nullified and they become like little viruses or something like that. And then also they might flock to hexadecimal, which is in that particular PC is one of the 2 viruses that are in there. But the thing is, the 2 viruses that are in the PC were once one virus. One is a crazy kind of chaotic evil lady, and the other one is Frollo from Hunchback of Notre Dame, but his name is Megabyte here. And what's interesting is I'm pretty sure that Gooseworks saw Reboot, because Gangle this seems very much like hexadecimal in terms of like the color scheme and the mask thing, because hexadecimal didn't have a moving face. She had different face mask things that she would have on. And she was like Megabyte's crazy sister, who's like way more powerful than him, but he got all the intelligence and stuff. So he basically, the idea was that Megabyte represented order and hexadecimal represented chaos. And she was way more powerful, but Megabyte was way more of a threat because he was way more intelligent, he was way more organized, and a lot more influence. Hexadecimal just kind of like did whimsical crap and was in love with Bob. That's kind of what her whole thing was. But yeah, that's how it goes. So, story of season 3, the game hopping from season system. Yeah, I remember that. So that was interesting because they were meeting different people from different PCs and stuff. It was very interesting. Although it was like when I was a kid, I was watching. I was like, oh, Reboot's on, and it's like, oh, this is not what I expected. I was expecting like Saturday morning cartoon antics because that's kind of what happened in the first season or so, and then you get season 3, which is dark, and then there's like after that there is another thing that happens where they have to fight this insane level super virus that is spreading across the entire network or something. It's crazy stuff. But yeah, and then obviously that was not the plan, because if you look at the intro to Reboot, right, back in the day, it's like Bob is like, I'm going to go, I surf the net or something like that, I'm going to find out who the user is and meet them and stuff. And that never happens. He never does those stated goals in the beginning of the show with the intro. That never comes to fruition. So anyway, but yeah, it was a crazy season because it really changed the tone of the show. Like not a little bit, I mean the opposite. Like, this just switched it up like completely different. But thank you very much, Megalithon. Very much appreciated, and that's a very, very generous. Once again, very generous Megalithon. Let's see. Put you here. Megalithon. Thank you very much. Here we go, and boom. All right.
No piece of media from the mid-2000s better demonstrates the sheer state of panic that the anime boom induced in American TV execs than Lunatics Unleashed, a gritty post-apocalyptic sequel to Merry Melodies, in which the teenager with attitude descendants of Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck, and so on use their alien-gifted superpowers to save the world, because apparently Duck Dodgers just wasn't hitting that tween demographic hard enough. But while Lunatics is very much the perfect punchline to every joke about Americans making anime, it's not really representative of the broader endeavor. Sam Register, the president of Warner Brothers Animation, has singled it out as a prime example of what not to do. And while he did say that mainly in regards to the then new Looney Tunes show, he has also produced many anime-inspired cartoons throughout his decades in the industry that do not do any of the terrible things.
Hi Puffy Abayumi, that was another one, but that one only came out and people only watched that because of Teen Titans. Right? I'm pretty sure that was the case, because Puffy Abayumi, they made the Teen Titans intro song, and it's like, oh, everyone liked that song, so they kind of gave the singers of the band, they gave the two main characters of the band their own show for some reason. It wasn't that bad. It was just kind of a quirky show. See, Dr. E. Ryan IV, thanks for the 15 shekels. Let's see, there was a 4th season of Reboot, but we don't talk about that piece of Netflix. Wait a minute, it was on Netflix? Is that the one where they go after Kron or whatever? Where she like starts a cult and everyone kind of gets brainwashed? It's a Frank Casmento, this is 10 gifted memberships. Thank you much, Frank Casmento. Appreciate it. All right, chat. Well, let me see here. Let me get the right proper clip up here. Thank you very much, Frank Casmento. And welcome to 10 additional members of the Lit Legion, which are the past shows, and the custom emojis. Thank you very, very much. Thank you very, very much. Let me update this real quick.
Lunatics does. And it's not just him. I remember a lot of these shows being painfully cringy for a young me in search of real anime back in the day. But looking back, most of the cartoons to come out of this movement were pretty good and even great. And they got there almost immediately. Powerpuff Girls and Batman Beyond were a little too early to have been made in direct response to the anime boom, but they arrived.
All right, chat. We're at we hit the goal again. So make some not introductions, some suggestions. Make some suggestions, chat. Okay, and we'll add on another thing we'll watch this weekend, another show or movie, probably some movie maybe that we'll watch this weekend alongside Yu-Gi-Oh! GX and Venture Brothers. It'd be maybe another glitch show. Who knows? Who knows? Let me know, chat. Let me know in the chat.
Just in time to surf the wave, and they both absolutely 2000's X-Men Evolution is notable for putting a greater emphasis on teen drama than the 90s version, and taking a notably more anime-esque stylistic direction that must have been very comfortable for Madhouse and Mook Animation to work on, though it does still feel like an action cartoon at its core. Samurai Jack hit in 2001, and it still feels ahead of its time. A quiet, slow-paced, contemplative series that lets its decidedly anime-style action speak more and louder than its characters most of the time, while respecting its audience's intelligence at every turn. But one show which
Samurai Jack was awesome. Yeah, a peak. Oh, is this Jackie Chan Adventures?
Often gets lumped in with the early anime likes.
Yep. Jackie Chan Adventures.
That really ought to be questioned more is Jackie Chan Adventures. While its martial arts action, chi-based magic system, and MacGuffin hunting plot structure do bear some very obvious similarities to Dragon Ball, that's mainly because it taps into the same sources as Toriyama did of wuxia and kung fu cinema. Personally, I think it more belongs in a separate lineage of kung fu cartoons with Shaolin Showdown, Jake Long, and Juniper Lee, but
okay, Shaolin Showdown, Jake Long, I would say are more like American anime, because they had a lot of influence from the East, not necessarily Japan, but the East. American Dragon Jake Long, I think, had a lot of power from Donnie Bosco. Pretty sure that's the case, because Donnie Bosco voices Jake. And this was definitely during like the Avatar era. So like, oh yeah, we sold this on the fact that it's Zuko voicing the dragon. That's Zuko's voice of the dragon. Also, some pretty interesting stuff going on with the storyline, at least before they had their big change. Because Jake Long, American Dragon Jake Long, was a really cool show, and they switched it up to make it more streamlined, and it was awful looking. Like he went from being like this Chad looking American Dragon guy to some soy boy. It was crazy. And then like it was really funny because he was in love with this girl, and like, oh yeah, typical main characters in love with the pretty popular girl, high school crush. And then in this time around, she is actually a hunter who actually kills dragons and mythical creatures and stuff. So that was a pretty cool little twist. And then we had Juniper Lee. Juniper Lee was like animated Chinese Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Like her whole job was to, I think, fight evil monsters and like make peace between other people or something like that. It wasn't nearly as interesting as American Dragon Jake Long. It is not nearly as interesting. It was cool, I guess, but not nearly as interesting. And then Shaolin Showdown was awesome. Like that was an epic. That's definitely American anime. Jake Long, little bit, I would say. Shaolin Showdown, Jackie Chan Adventures, and Teen Titans, Avatar's Airbender, I would classify those specifically as American anime, where they're trying to very much emulate the style of anime, not just reference it. That's what I would say about it. And see, Push Human says it's still no Super Robot Monkey. Man, that's a mouthful. Not mentioned. Yeah, I remember Super Robot Monkey. It's Action Book says, good morning. Hope everyone is doing well as always. Preferred the original design of Jake's dragon form, but I enjoyed the redesign. But I would have made it so Jake would switch to both buff and slim. Yeah, like a little transformation. I like the original by a lot. I really like the original.
Maybe that's a distinction without difference. I don't know. 2003 is when anime likes really started taking off, and they started with a bang. Fresh off of working on Batman Beyond, producer and character designer Glenn Murakami was given free rein to put his own stamp on a DC Comics property, separate from the Timiverse that was then developing. And the result was a show whose cancellation we still gripe about 2 decades later.
Yeah, because it was bad enough they canceled this thing. All right, this was a real tragedy. Oops.
Developing, and the result.
Yeah, so this was a real tragedy.
Whose cancellation we still gripe about 2 decades later.
Yeah, this was a real tragedy because not only did it get canceled right when it was like getting like really good, like it had some really good arcs, it got canceled right at the wrong time. It was an awful cliffhanger because it was like Beast Boy goes and finds that Tara, the girl that he was in love with, who betrayed them, but then who saved them at the last moment by betraying Slade. She was. It turned out that she was back somehow. And that's what happened. Like suddenly she's back and alive and not dead anymore. I mean, the whole thing where he tries to reconnect with her because he's in love with her, and he gets brutally rejected. And that's kind of where it ends. It ends Tara's alive and Beast Boy is miserable. And then the show ends. And then we get Teen Titans in Tokyo, and that's about it. No mention of Tara at all or anything. That's it. That's the end of the show. And everyone's like, wait a minute, that's where it ends? We need another season of this stuff. And then we got more Teen Titans, but it was in the form of Teen Titans Go. And that's just, talk about Teen Titans Go. That's a travesty, but man, it's crazy. I have to say it's crazy how this worked. It couldn't just be over, right? It had to be, they had to end Teen Titans, the show, in the worst way humanly imaginable. They just hated the audience watching the show. Because it couldn't just be that they cancel it, and on the worst note you could possibly cancel a show on. They followed it up with a series that spoofed on this show called Teen Titans Go that outright hated its audience. Pretty sure it hated all the people who watched the show.
Bangin' J-Rock opening aside, Teen Titans wasn't quite anime. The comedy was a bit too cartoony, the episodes a bit too episodic, but what it was a damn good.
By the way, Teen Titans is good. Avatar is good. But they did influence some cringe later on. I'm pretty sure that whoever made Turning Red and whoever's running modern Disney Pixar films with the quirk slap style, I'm pretty sure they were big fans of Teen Titans and Avatar because they like to emphasize all that quirky cartoon stuff that you usually don't really get. In Pixar, you might get a little gag here and there, but Pixar usually kind of makes it feel like you're in a real world with cartoony stuff happening. The new Pixar stuff feels like a cartoon. It occasionally has moments of realness, maybe, but it's like a cartoon. It takes itself seriously in no way. So the Teen Titans and Avatar had a lot of moments like that, but they balance it out with drama and interesting situations and things.
Good show that stood out from every other cartoon and anime on the air with a distinctive style that represented the best of both worlds. It could be gut-bustingly funny one minute and devastatingly dramatic the next. The fight scenes always hit hard, and its interpretation of the Titans would go on to be arguably the definitive version of the team as a whole and each of the individual characters, even over the comics they started in. This is the show that made Robin the Boy Wonder genuinely, unambiguously cool. Something Teen Titans Go has been trying to undo ever since. And it's also almost certainly the show that convinced Warner Bros. They could get away with lunatics, so I can't even say he doesn't deserve that on some level. Though, of course, it wasn't just WB who thought their IP could benefit from an anime-style refresh. Some legacy series were a little more subtle about it, hewing closer to the DCAU in style, while others just said, f it, let's hire Gonzo. And then you have the Transformers, which basically let the Japanese side run the entire brand for half a decade before Teen Titansifying the next fully American iteration. And while individually a lot of these shows were decent or even good, their collective existence is, I think, what really put the stink of corporate desperation on this whole wave of anime-esque cartoons. Networks would also try to satisfy our bottomless demand for punchy cartoons by importing and commissioning anime-inspired works from other regions, like Cubics from Korea, the Italian-made Winx Club, or France's Witch, and Code Lyoko, and Skyland, and Oban Star Racers, Totally Spies, Martin Mystery, Team Galaxy. The French made a lot of these sort of things back in the day, and they still do. But it feels a little wrong to cover French and European animation here, and not just because I'm going to be A/B testing America Does Anime for the video title. Europe and France in particular have a long history of work.
And then the Code Lyoko, right? There's a Code. I remember watching Code Lyoko. It's like in that lineup, like the after school lineup. They should bring this stuff back. They're kind of, everyone's like missing out on all this stuff, right? Like we used to have like a Saturday morning cartoon block, and we used to have an after school like special run, right? You come home from school, and all these cool shows start showing at around 3 or 4 o'clock, something like that. And it was pretty awesome. Like they give you enough time to get home, try to get comfortable, and then they start showing the really cool stuff. Especially on Cartoon Network. Let's see. Frank and Casmento says it didn't end. We got Teen Titans Go, right? You're right, guys. Yeah. They got Teen Titans Go, which just if you like Teen Titans, they hated you. That's what it felt like. Teen Titans, the people who made Teen Titans Go, I think they hated you if you like Teen Titans.
Working with the Japanese on full-blown anime co-productions dating way back to the early 80s, which has resulted in quite a...
Speaking of cartoons, I don't envy Tara Strong having become like the star voice actress for My Little Pony. I've seen some videos where like there's some really weirdos that she has to interact with. Because Tara Strong, she voices Raven and stuff like that, and she also works on Teen Titans Go. But it was pretty funny. It's like, what the hell is this? Like, there's some really creepo weirdos that just come around. We're obsessed with My Little Pony. Like, what is this? What's going on? I do not envy that situation.
Bit of cross-pollination of both techniques and talents between their industries. As such, many of these shows have an authentic anime feel about them that their American contemporaries would struggle to match for years, even decades to come. I mean, Oban Star Racers straight up has an MAL page, so I mostly just think of these shows as anime. That is what the French already...
this is like definitely copying anime. Definitely. Look at that.
Call it, after all. That's where Japan got the word. At the same time, though, nothing from that era quite embodies the greasy hello fellow kidsiness of fake mid-2000s anime, in my mind at least, quite so thoroughly as the Marathon Media trilogy. With their way too wacky animation and decidedly Western episodic approach to storytelling, they all sit right at the bottom of the uncanime valley. And yet, I do owe at least half of my fetishes to Totally Spies, so maybe it is a real anime after all. It's hard to say. Perhaps...
Oh, yeah. Like everyone knows about this, that Totally Spies is basically a fetish show. This guy is just a kid's show.
The problem lies with them being Canadian co-productions. We did have our hand in quite a few of these sorts of things in the mid-2000s too. Some
Stormhawks. I actually kind of like Stormhawks. It was a little bit goofy, but when it started to come into its own, I kind of liked it. I like the setting and the premise. It was very like standard Saturday morning cartoon fight the bad guy premise, but it's kind of like if Azula was like the Fire Lord. It's kind of what it's like. So like the bad guy here is Cyclonus, Master Cyclonus, but it's like, a girl, like the princess took over because her parents got killed or something like that. And she's also a genius and a prodigy and all that stuff. So it was pretty interesting. It was a pretty cool show. It wasn't the best show ever. I could see why it got canceled, but like for what it was, and when it really got into doing, when it really got was allowed to have some cool moments, it had some cool moments. But it's a lot of the reasons why I like it's only for personal taste. So I could see why it got canceled. It's very goofy. It was very goofy, very like Saturday morning cartoon. But I do kind of like it.
Pretty good. Some My Life Me.
Besides, I'm not pom-pom girl material. I'm going back to skateboarding, where I belong. Yeah!
I don't want to talk about that one though, so let's get back to America in the early aughts. 2004 saw the release of
here we go, Megas XLR. That's a good one.
Megas XLR, an actual deconstruction of mecha anime tropes about a schlubby burnout from New Jersey who installs his hot rod as the head of a giant future robot that he finds buried in a junkyard and uses it plus his gaming skills to protect the Jersey Shore from time-traveling aliens and other space goons, but not himself, who accidentally blows up at least half the city like every other episode. It's fantastic. One of the best things Cartoon Network ever canceled.
It's a seg. This is the $5. I don't envy Tara Strong's husband. I imagine canoodling with her, and she's been she pulled out the Timmy Turner. Regularly out of malice. I know. all of a sudden it's Timmy Turner talking to you. That would be kind of creepy, I have to say.
And the first dedicated anime parody show that really made me think, damn, these guys get it. Seriously, if there is one thing that you take away from this video, it should be watch Megas XLR. 2004 also gave us Super Robot Monkey Team Hyperforce Go.
Wow, even Mother's Basement likes Megas XLR. That's how you know it's good.
Oh, which I didn't actually watch because none of our Canadian channels got it. And Hi Hi Puffy Amiyumi.
There we go. Hi Hi Puffy Amiyumi was only a show made because the singers made the Teen Titans intro song. And everyone liked it, and everyone liked the singers, so they wanted to cash in on that popularity.
Cutesy comedy about the real-life J-rock band behind that bangin' Teen Titans OP, who tragically had to change their original name, Puffy, for fear of legal trouble with America's third most famous pedophile, which makes a great segue.
What? What do you mean? What? Who? What?
Way into 2005, and one of the first American anime that really got it. Well, technically,
The Boondocks.
that episode of the Boondocks is about R. Kelly, but it still very much applies. In writing terms, the Adult Swim adaptation of Aaron Magruder's transgressively progressive manga-style newspaper comic is very much in line with other adult cartoons of the era, maybe a touch more slice-of-lifey, but in terms
Until it fits LD being from Philly. I can assure you New Jersey is really like how it's depicted in Megas XLR. Look at the mutants in like inhabitable buildings.
of how it looks, how it moves, how it feels, the rhythm of its...
Oh, I was like, Puffy? There's no guy named Puffy, but Puff Daddy. Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. Like Puffy? Like, is there like a pedo named Puffy? I don't remember that. Guys, definitely sounds like a name like a parrot would have as a nickname. But you mean Puff Daddy? Okay, yeah.
Editing, and especially its action scenes, it is anime through and through. Magruder and his co-director LaShawn Thomas were some of the earliest members of the anime generation to break into the business, going from mainlining Cowboy Bebop on Adult Swim to airing alongside Samurai Champloo just a couple years.
It's Afro Samurai. I feel like was made by the same company.
Years later, and their excitement about that whole situation bleeds through in every episode. Literally every one. You can tell they were watching Champloo while they storyboarded the OP. Now, as an adult-oriented sitcom with deep America-centric political undertones, I expect a lot of folks will probably argue that this one especially shouldn't count as anime, but that never stopped King of the Hill, and
King of the Hill is definitely... you know what it says, like America cannot have like a slice of life show has never seen King of the Hill. That's a good show.
Doesn't even look like anime. That wasn't the only anime style hit that CN had on their hands that year either, as just a few weeks after the Boondocks, Ben 10 would make its debut on their end of year sneak peek week, going on to be one of the most enduring franchises.
Ben 10 also voiced by Tara Strong
in their entire catalog, with 22 seasons and nearly 300 episodes spanning multiple sequels and reboots. Of those, the most anime of those
good. Ben 10 was awesome.
The bunch is probably Alien Force, which follows Ben as a teenager dealing with teenager stuff, plus morphing into aliens to fight other aliens, at least according to my friends who actually watched Ben 10. Personally, I never got that into it. The original series was more of a cartoon anime hybrid like Teen Titans, and, you know, I already had Teen Titans, so I didn't feel too compelled to keep up with that, especially considering the other thing 2005 had to offer.
Avatar is better. Now they're tearing this to pieces now. Which, oddly enough, Mother's Basement hates the Netflix show, as everyone of any taste should. Let's see. Nathan Cassidy, thanks for the fighters says the funniest theory I had about the cancellation of Samurai Pizza Cats is the producer of it found out he was a closet furry, and that's why he shut it down. Like, no, I must reject this. And people love Ben 10. Ben 10 was awesome. I like Ben 10. I like the whole like the theories. Oh no, not the theories, but like the lore that we got. Like his grandpa's a plumber. Like, oh yeah, I thought you were a plumber. Yeah, that's like a spaceman. That's like a space mercenary or something like that. A space, like a Men in Black kind of thing. He's like basically Brock Samson, but for space.
Whether or not you call it an anime, and I absolutely do, Avatar: The Last Airbender is a perfect TV show. It, too, has a bit of that cartoon hybrid feel early on, not necessarily in how it's scripted or animated 90% of the time, but rather in the very Nicktoons tone of its humor. Its hero, Aang, is a goofy little guy whose main goal in life is doing a bunch of goofy things in a world full of weird and cuddly magical animals that he can have goofy little rides on. Potty humor abounds, and it is not unheard of for characters to get slimed. You might think that this would clash with the more serious tone of a shonen-style magic martial arts adventure about taking down an evil genocidal empire.
No, because if you just because something wants to be serious doesn't mean it can't be funny. Seriousness and funniness or humor are not opposites. The opposite of funny is not funny, not seriousness. So yeah, you can definitely have both. It's just that you have to balance them out. It's kind of how what the MCU did at the beginning of the MCU, which was they had a lot of drama, a lot of moments. Like it's basically the mainstay, the backbone of it was kind of serious, but then we had goofy moments. Then we had jokes, on the side, and it was kind of a refreshing tone, like a way to set the tone or reset it or change it or something. But then like, oh yeah, people like the comedy. Well, we just turn our superhero movies into comedies. And from then on, we could take it. No one could take anything seriously anymore. That was it. That was the death knell of the MCU. You can have comedy, you can have funny moments, but you have to remember that you have to balance them out well enough to do so. You have to balance them out pretty well, and that will make things feel well balanced. That's kind of how your serious moments will not be ruined by humor, and your humor moments will not be ruined by seriousness. So balance. What they do now is like our character died or is dying. We need to have a joke. Someone quick make a quip. It's like when you saw. Has anyone seen the full video? I don't know where it happens, but Mahler had that 17-hour video, so I know that he probably didn't see all of it, but the 17-hour video about Star Wars Outlaws, where he actually cut a scene to make it better. And he missed this, and then he plays the whole scene, so you know what exactly really happened. There's a scene in there where the droid character kind of encounters like another droid from the Clone Wars who like was never deactivated and thinks the war is still going, and then he finally gives him orders like the war is over, soldier, you can rest now. He's like, thank you, sir. Like it's a really dark, touching moment between our droid seeking freedom and another droid who was a slave to his orders far beyond the necessity. And then Mahler cuts it off after that because it's a very good moment between these two droids. One guy seeking freedom, the other one kind of a slave to his death, and then you see him shut down and die. And it was a very interesting moment between two characters. And then Mahler cut it there, and then he shows us like what the scene looked like without the cut, and it's like this very touching moment, and then the main character bitch has to come in and say, "Oh, Major something." Like I think he called her like a major whatever her name is, and with Major K, and she's like, "Major K, I think I like the sound of that." Like, thanks for ruining that moment. So Mahler's cut allowed you to like feel the moment and just let it sit with you, while what actually happens in the game is, oh, that's too much feels, can't let you do too much emotional labor, gotta have a joke in there. It just ruins the entire moment, like hitting a window with a sledgehammer, like boom, oh, it's all gone. And to make it that's OLD, don't underestimate. I watched Mahler's video twice. It's a good video. It's very entertaining, very entertaining. I could understand if you didn't watch all of it. 17 hours. It's Leaf Hassel says MB doesn't acknowledge Warner, Nickelodeon, DreamWorks, Illumination, and Disney, and a myriad of other studios doing great work in the 1890s, and sometimes a gem or two in the 2000s. Oh yeah, Warner Brothers, amazing. DreamWorks, Nickelodeon, a lot of these companies are doing fantastic animation stuff. Fantastic. It was a golden age. It was a golden age of TV that we had all this cool animation.
And you would be right, but that is precisely the point. Avatar uses the tension between its two identities of cartoon and anime to reflect the tension between the childlike whims of its hero and the very adult responsibilities that he's destined to fulfill. And as he accepts that destiny and begins to grow up, so too does the show with him, getting darker and more serious with each passing season.
That's how it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be done, by the way. It doesn't matter if it's a kid or not. You start off a little bit more lenient, a little bit more like the hero can win, and then as the show progresses, it gets more serious, more dire. It gets darker because it's Freitag's triangle, the escalation of stakes, the rising action. So you can have season one be a normal bad guy. It climaxes with everyone winning and everyone going out to Swarmer at the end or something like that, right? And then season two comes along. It's a little bit dark. Season two could probably still, depending on how many seasons I guess you have, season two could still maintain that mainstay of like, okay, we're in dire situations, but we can win. Everything's going to turn out fine in the end. And then we can get season three, which can really put a monkey wrench in that plan and kill someone off. Or something happens where we can't go back. Something gets nuked. Some mainstay thing from the previous two seasons gets annihilated. Something like that happens. It gets darker. It's not because it needs to get darker, like because it's cooler. It's because it's the principle of rising action. So you have a show, you need to have the show progress in a rising action format. Now it could be slow, but it needs to progress in a rising action format. It does. So whatever, it doesn't have to be a kid. It could be a main character. It could be. John Wick does this. The first one is like, all he has to do is kill this gang, right? And he's fine. Everything's good. He just goes back home, relaxes. John Wick 2 is very similar until the end, where you do get that thing where you just know going back, and then John Wick 3 and John Wick 4 escalate and escalate. That's why I like them. Now you could say that they're overblown and like there's a lot of problems with them, because there are, but they do escalate.
And casting away a lot of the more goofy humor, though never fully abandoning that naive sense of whimsy, joy, and hope. It's a work that could have only emerged out of this very specific moment in the evolution of American animation, and that only works as well as it does because its nature is so in line with what it has to say. And while it has stayed incredibly relevant to this day, in fact, I'll be dropping a whole video about its latest attempt to stay relevant on the 30th, there was something really special about living through that moment. It honestly felt like Western animation was on the cusp of finally catching up to anime, of finally telling stories that would matter to me again on a much grander scale. Sadly, history is not simply a forward march of progress, and 1 year after Avatar debuted, Nickelodeon proved they'd learned absolutely nothing from it with Kappa Mikey. The tale of a failed
I never heard of this before, but it looks awful. This looks terrible.
American actor who becomes the star of Japan's most popular tokusatsu series by winning a scratch-off contest, with the main gimmick being that he looks like he stepped out of a typical mid-2000s Flash cartoon, while all of the Japanese characters look like they stepped out of a typical mid-2000s Flash hentai quiz. As a child, this was the show that made me write off almost everything like it except Avatar and Teen Titans as cringy and out of touch. But looking back on it now as an adult, I think I actually hate it more. The sound designer's use of whip cracks could give Johnny Test a run for his money. Maybe 1 in 30 jokes is actually funny. And while the background artists and animators clearly know at least a little anime and Japanese culture ball, none of them bothered to pass it on to the writer's room, who... Let me put it this way. The show's title is a pun on Kappamaki sushi, meant to echo Mikey's status as a fish out of water in Tokyo, which would be very clever if Kappamaki had any fucking fish in it. If this show was It's about some schlub moving to New York. The only thing that would have to change is its art.
Oh man, this is awesome. This is evil Farnsworth
style. The one unambiguously good thing to come out of Kappa Mikey is its theme song, performed by Beat Crusaders, who also gave us the only good thing about Bleach's Bount arc and Hit in the USA from Beck Mongolian Chop Squad. But sadly, the rest of the show's vibe sits somewhere between Gwen Stefani's Harajuku Girls and that Kirsten Dunst cover of Turning Japanese. Okay, done roasting it now. Sorry, I had to get that out of my system. The next few years would be relatively quiet on the American anime front, mostly seeing continuations of the shows we've already touched on. But by 2010, the industry seemed to have learned its lessons from the big hits of 2005 and the...
Let's see. Guys, says Kappa Mikey was originally planned for MTV, but they got turned down and put on Nickelodeon instead. The original MTV pilot was leaked by the creator a couple years back, and it's better. It probably is because MTV, they probably allow you to do a lot more crazy things, but Nickelodeon is more kid-friendly. And so they probably had to take out a lot of the stuff that they used to have for the MTV version, and that might be why it's so watered down. Okay, says, from what little I've heard of Nickelodeon, is very decentralized, development-wise. Yeah, it has like a bunch of random shows. Like it was very interesting. It had its own flavor from as opposed to Cartoon Network. So Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon back in the day are very similar in how they treated kid shows. Like they had a lot. They're both like kid-friendly channels. Cartoon Network, however, had a big focus on animation. That was it. It did a bunch of cartoons. Nickelodeon could vary. Like it could have like a bunch of random stuff on it. It was cool random stuff. It's kind of where you get like the old school shows, like what's it called? Salute Your Shorts or something like that. I think that's what it was. Or Worm Guts or something like that. They had they had Global Guts. Or was that where they had a bunch of kids were like competing for like a prize by going through a bunch of obstacles. They had the Hidden Legends of the Hidden Temple. They had like the game show era, which I liked. I like Legend of the Hidden Temple. That was pretty cool. And what else was there? But they also had things like SpongeBob. SpongeBob became a mainstay that continues on even today. But they also had like All Real Monsters. I think that was a good one. They had Rugrats. They had some other they had a mascot named Stickly that would just introduce stuff. They had a lot more random creativity where Cartoon Network is more standardized in terms of what they looked like, what they felt like, but they would have all these interesting, really cool cartoons on there. That's what they specialized in, was cartoons. So the Cartoon Network would give you Courage the Cowardly Dog, Dexter's Laboratory. You can go go to Cartoon Network for that. Kids Next Door, Samurai Jack, Powerpuff Girls. They had all like most of the really good cartoons from that back in the day were on Cartoon Network. That's where you wanted to go. Nickelodeon was cool because they had some interesting like live action shows on there. I think Drake and Josh was on there. All that they were better at live action really back in the day as opposed to the cartoon stuff. So they had all that. I remember all that. I watched that all the time. Kenan and Kel, Kablam. Remember Kablam? Anyone remember Kablam? That was on Nickelodeon, and they were like a weird segment of stuff. Like it's not like a host introduce a cartoon. It's like Kablam was its own thing. Like you had like the main characters, Kablam's hosts, and then they would introduce a Kablam only show, like the superhero thing, Prometheus and Bob, something like that. It was interesting. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Symbiotic Titan was Cartoon Network. I'm pretty sure because Cartoon Network would have like these segments where there was more adult stuff, where Nickelodeon was more kid friendly all the way around. I think that's and then so Cartoon Network kind of developed Adult Swim, I think, where they would have more more adult stuff. They would have like cartoons from Canada, and I don't know what they're smoking in Canada, but that was like real horror show stuff. Like, what the hell is this? Why is everything from Canada either really weird or depressing? What the fuck? But that's where like you get Space Ghost Coast to Coast. I think that was original Adult Swim stuff, or that segment at night. Nick had Nick at Night, which really wasn't more adult stuff. It was more like old stuff. So Nick at Night will give you like Lucy. like I Love Lucy and stuff, and Gilligan's Island. So it has its own flavor even at the night at its in its night segment. And say, Ben Parker says that would explain why I never saw Symbiotic Titan. It was on cable in the day, didn't have cable for a long time. Yeah, people don't really have cable today, really at all. And say, 2011 Thundercats, that makes sense. Oh yeah, the Chowder. They had Chowder. Cartoon Network had Chowder. Rada. Tara Strong's on there too. She plays the fairy. She plays Mung Doll's wife. What's her name? Pixie? Something like that. It's the action book is symbiotic friendly. LD, there was a scene of dancing a song called Booty Shake It. Yeah, Cartoon Network was that was more of an adult thing. Like usually back in the day, you didn't really get that much. But back in the day, you also had Samurai Jack. In Samurai Jack's first episode, you had like women dancing in cages in a nightclub. So Nickelodeon is a little bit more kid friendly than Cartoon Network. Cartoon Network would like put their foot in the pool of adult themes and stuff sometimes. They're a little bit looser, I would say.
Exploded. In 1 year, Young Justice,
that's her name is Truffles, that's it,
gave us a more condensed, serialized narrative than Teen Titans. Generator Rex gave us even cooler morphing powers than Ben 10. Symbionic Titan gave us a mecha story just as good as Megas XLR, as well as Tartakovsky's most mature work to date. Stan Lee took a trip to Japan to make his own anime with Studio Bones, and Mystery Incorporated took the Scooby-Doo franchise in a bold new continuity-driven direction that is still, for my money, the best take on the meddling teens to date. And the shows just kept stacking up from there, from Thundercats 2011 to Korra in 2012, to the point that individual releases kind of stopped being notable. By 2013, even internet-based indie animators were getting in on the fun, with Rooster Teeth's Rawubia
there's Ruby
telling a high-octane tale of magically empowered battle waifus fighting to stop a villainous slave revolt gone too far. Son of a bitch, America! These days, some of the hottest cartoons on the biggest networks are isekai and magical girl stories. The biggest movie of the now is a Symphogear clone. And we can't
Symphogear.
forget about all the other streaming originals that, call them anime or not, are pretty fucking badass. Not to mention all the great indie cartoons.
That's a new one, right? With the everyone got triggered over the fact that why are they making her look so feminine? They're so porn brain now. I just like they just see a feminine looking woman, a woman that looks like a woman, and they get triggered. It's like, how dare you give her hips and boobs? What the hell?
Cartoons with obviously anime influences, some of which have gotten shockingly big in Japan. Well, maybe it's not that shocking. Many of the titles we've just been talking about have
I remember that.
Have Japanese-made anime of their own. Enough that I could make a whole separate video just about those, and also the entire Japan-exclusive season of Lilo and Stitch, in which Experiment 626 abandons his Ohana to go live with a brand new Kazoku in Okinawa. See? It's not just America that ruins things. In fact, I'd say most of the things that we've just gotten through talking about show quite the opposite. From Megas XLR to Neo Yokio, Avatar to the Dragon Prince, Samurai Jack to Blue Eye Samurai, almost none of them have been making anime worse. They've just been making cartoons better, moving past the corporate roadblocks and cultural stigma that have held the medium of animation back in the West for so long by following in the footsteps of artists who figured that shit out in the
Gabba Jonas says that from what I've seen by now, American anime tries really hard to replicate something that never mattered. Yeah, it's not about the style, it's about the quality of the animation, it's about the story. Copying the manga style, copying the anime style will not make your thing good. It's kind of like the misconception of, if I just follow the hero's journey, I'm gonna have an amazing story. It's not true. Like, you still have to do the work. It's not a win button to just suddenly your story is really good.
70s.
It's not how that works. So I think that's kind of what people are seeing this as. Like, oh, if we just start making like the anime manga style, then we'll be good. No, the reason why the manga anime style is a benefit right now is because we have received so many good, excellent stories from the manga anime style. We have. And so when we see it, we connect it with, oh, good storytelling. It's exactly the opposite of what I mentioned the other day, where we see the Disney slop style, where it's all the same looking crap, the same characters, a little bit different clothing or something, same quirky personality. Like we see that style, and we see think, oh, this is slop, because we've connected it with so many projects that look like that turn out to be quirk slop from Disney. That's how that works. So it's not going to, like, having the anime or manga style is not going to make your stuff good automatically. It's just going to, you're just benefiting from other people's work, essentially, that did have that style and was good. But if too many people are coming in with the manga anime style and making slop and crap, you're going to end up with the same situation as you have with the Pixar Disney model, which is, I just look at the animation style and I know it's going to be slop, because I connect the animation style with the past shows or movies with that style. And to me, there's so many instances of these movies and shows with that style being terrible slop, that style signals, oh, this is going to be terrible slop. It's going to be awful.
And 80s, without which we simply would not have all of the vibrantly creative and expressive cartoons and American anime that are getting written off for tax purposes today. I'm Jeff Thu, professional anime identifier, saying no to Kappa Mikey, but yes to King of the Hill. Only the first 6 seasons, though.
All right, there we go, chat. There we go. Let me see. All right. Well. I think it concludes another Weeb Day. Weeb Day. But you know what? I think instead of, let me see. What's tomorrow? Yeah, July 4th is tomorrow. Let's see. Instead of an additional thing, we might additional show. We might have another Weeb Day Part 2, because we have a lot of Weeb Day stuff to cover, and we're getting close to the end of the stream here. So we might have second Weeb Day tomorrow morning. Hopefully, that's the plan. Hopefully that's the case. But I do want to do a second Weeb Day. I think it'd be pretty fun. Well, along with watching the other stuff. Now maybe we'll also watch an additional something. But we'll see. But I want to thank you all for your generosity. It's been fantastic generosity. And now we will go to Peliman. Here we go, chat. So leave volume, raise your volume, whatever you prefer. And Peliman, and 5, 4. Loud clip incoming, by the way, chat. Loud clip incoming. So Peliman, and 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh, yes, best chat. Oh, yes. Asking God's goodness and the good God's goodness have blessed us this wonderful day. It's a golden rate prediction of $5 super chat. Thank you very much. Let me see here. Yes. It's a golden rate. How do I sound, chat? Am I coming through okay? I have 2 clips in a row. Let's see. I like a few seasons of the new Voltron, but it got bad really woke and gay. That's usually what happens, isn't it, today? This is this. Oh, it's a pretty good show, and they get you hooked, and they bait and switch you with gay stuff. But again, as Wizard says, it's not made for you. It's made for kids. Like they'll get the kids hooked, and then they'll just keep watching it from then on once they're hooked. It's like that episode of SpongeBob where you're playing hooky. Like once you're hooked, it's too late. It's Friday. Let's go. Doctor Who is kind of existentially terrifying in the sense of what if you could get taken basically anywhere in space time, but you keep getting taken to Britain. That'd be awful. Yeah, especially today. I imagine like an episode of Doctor Who where Doctor Who gets stabbed and raped by some grooming gangs. It's at least, can I borrow some money? I swear on my dad's life I'll pay it back. Fine. Hey Dad, are you home? That's so kill the dad. And say drone and 3D printer regulations are equally pointless as long as portable train derailers can fit in a duffel bag and the Excelia Express goes through tunnels at 240 with 300 plus passengers. Anyone who wants a body count can get one. Let's see. Don't let anyone talk you out of spending $15 on a new hobby. That $50 will be the best $400 you've ever spent. Let's see. The whoever just $15 on a new hobby, right? That $50 will be the best $400 you ever spent. Usually how it goes. Let's see. What is this? Corporations will abandon physical media and individuals will own nothing at all. That called so long ago. Me waiting for the women's self-defense class to end. See who's been paying attention with his hate base. Ben Franklin didn't plow through dozens and dozens of French whores just for you to abide by fireworks ordinance. All right. It's not why he did it. It's cheaper to rape a child 26 pounds than to put flowers in your garden 1,000 pounds. Welcome to England. Yeah. Teenage rapists who filmed attacks on girls 14 and 15 fined 26 pounds each. I think it's time for revolution over there. This feels like, what are you doing? How is that all they get? Elderly couple faced 1,000-pound bill after one neighbor complained about them planting flowers and shrubs on scrubland next to their home. It's a sunshine on my shoulders makes me happy. I'm proud to be an American, or at least I have AC. I'm proud to be an American, or at least I have AC. I won't forget the HVAC guy that installed it right for me, and I will stand up next to you and salute you still today. Yeah, burn, France, burn. It's really France and UK. You can both burn. Let's see. America, love it or leave it. Yeah, exactly. Based. Let's see. Celebrate the independence of your nation by blowing up a small part of it. United States. Let's see. It's Kirby is the name you should know. Fox Summer Kirsch. What's this? A Godzilla game that uses Google Maps to create a 3D model of the city you live in so you can destroy it as a giant monster. Take my money. What's this? Stop jerking off to porn and hentai, you jerk. You have me, your stepsister. How would a furry wear a hairnet? I mean, I guess that would be the way to go because everything on their body is fur. What's this? Always endeavor to be the American the Japanese think you are. In Tokyo tomorrow, celebrate America's 250th birthday by watching the Tokyo Tower Rainbow Bridge and Tokyo Aqua Symphony illuminate snap photo of your video of red, white, and blue. I think the Japanese love America more than half the country. Like this Japanese love America more than all these wokies do. It is the American way. Actually, it is the British way. There's somebody Jack doing like she uses like asleep. Courage was here. It's like emo Fred, and I just Mrs. Foster is this. I forgot what it's called. Like just chugging on this beer, a beer funnel, and it's Shaggy holding her, and it's it's Frankie, and at the back there we have We have Johnny Bravo, this dancing with the Kankers. Let's see. What is this? Rightfully Angry Gamers, Nintendo. Have Mario Kart update. It's all killed themselves. American Bikini, always a classic. Mario Kart World. An update on PlayStation Store for PS3 and PS5. It's a lot of text. Let's see. What's the CIA? We received a fake sex tape of you. Do you want to say, or will release it to the public? The president of Indonesia is seeing how big his actor's dick is. I just know that the hostesses hate his autistic ass so much. Let's see. Where's the weirdest place you've ever done it? Done what? What do you think? On the roof at a hospital, on the roof of the Millennium Tower. You went all the way there to do it? It was a tough fight. It's a Smithers. Why haven't I heard of this leader? He's as rich and powerful as I am, and he seems to enjoy tax-exempt status. Actually, sir, thanks to your creative bookkeeping and corporate loopholes, we only pay $3 a year. You're right. We're getting screwed. Designed for Maximum Corporation. Yeah, there we go. Concentration. Yeah, just a perfect desk setup for maximum concentration. There we go. What is this? Oh, yeah, I remember that. That was a good episode. Good episode. I think that was like he was trying to get like a moped or something. The Tidwell 3000. There it is. I had the power to have all the powers. Boom, you muted. Let's see. What's this? One more thing. Jackie Chan Adventures. Teen Titans. The Tara Strong says the fans of Teen Titans deserve a season 6. Yeah, she's been a long time advocate for more Teen Titans. They could do it at the same time as Teen Titans Go. Like they are two different kind of shows. One's a hilarious comedy, which I love doing, because she has to say that. You can't just like this show sucks. One is story that needs to be told. Yeah, so Tara Strong has been an advocate for more Drawn Together and more Teen Titans. Incredibly based. Let's see. There's Uncle Ruckus, the best character in Boondocks by a long shot. King of the Hill is just Texas anime. It kind of is, yeah. It's having an actress voice the kid who played the same kid as an adult is the most anime King of the Hill has ever been. Let's see. It is like the perfect anime. It's almost as good as Cory in the House. Remember that? Let's see, chat. 1 second here. All right. So, what's this? In Ben Parker, it's interesting going back to the old 80s shows and watching voice actors live in live role. Yeah, sometimes. Yeah, exactly. It's King of the Hill is one of the few animes where the time skip actually worked. My Neighbor Bobby. That's actually pretty accurate, I have to say. It's pretty accurate. That's my purse. I don't know you. Ayapuffy Amayumi, but like a very, very different animation, a different illustration. Bad day. No, leave me alone. Yes, I too love gazing out into the pastures where we keep Daigla, the Lord of Time. Alternatively, hello, yes, that's my horse Daigla, the Lord of Time. Yes, we have a whole pasture full of Lords of Time. Are you sure this is a good idea? If they have stolen your eggs, we must retaliate by any means necessary. For Planet Vegeta! Oh, I never actually seen that spelled out before. I know he says it. That's like his regular spell. But I never actually seen that spelled out before. Like anime. This looks pretty cool. The anime version of a Futurama. And Stick Tickly. There he is. There's the host of Kablam. That's a pretty good show. I like the Kablam block. Himmel shadow captured in this free run paper cut art. Very cool. Very cool. Very nice. That's pretty good, actually. Puppy Amayumi is creating the theme song for Starfire. Is that going to be a show? I mean, that makes sense. Let's see. This is Modoka cosplay. It was completely hand crochet, even the bow and arrow. The bow is hand crochet. I guess it is. Like, that's pretty insane. Let's see. This is King DDD. I think part of the problem is people treating the anime style like an art style when it's more a quality you can see on the instructional level. Yeah. People like anime because it has earned likability, because we've seen a lot of anime and manga style stories that have a lot of energy, a lot of passion, and they're usually a lot of fun, even if you don't like them as much. Let's see. Bobby Hill Z. I don't like it as much as the regular show. Well, all right, chat. You have a wonderful rest of your day. Trying to close the stream out here. So have a fantastic regular rest of your day. Have a thanks for Best Chat for always being Best Chat. See you all again, of course, next time.
On a cold winter morning, in the time before the light, in flames of death's eternal rain, we ride towards the fight. When the darkness has fallen down and the times are tough, alright, the sound of evil laughter falls around the world tonight. Couldn't keep it in, although heaven knows I tried. Conceal, don't feel, don't let them know. Well, now they know, so let me go. Let me go. Won't hold it back anymore. Let me go. I'm a rocket, a Roman candle, a fucking missile on my way to hell. I'm a martyr, a saint of sinners, and you will fear me in my death. There's no one that can make me repent the things I've done. Evil is my prime objective. I don't care about their perspective. Let the storm rage on. Blood never bothered me anyway. It's funny how some distance makes everything seem small, and the fears that once controlled me can't get to me at all. It's time to see what I can do, to test the limits and break through. No right, no wrong, no rules for me. I'm free. Let me go, let me go. I'll hang those princes high. Let me go, let me go. So I'll make my sister cry and let the storm rage on.